Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I loved it.
My name's Jay Milne. #Blue.
Our sports update deliverer. The Coon.
I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up today. You know what, Reid? You might be on this.
All right, here's what's going on in the nest.
Well, how you doing today, Jason Milne?
Fantastic, Reid.
Something stinks, eh? Don't you think something stinks a little bit? No, not you.
Oh,
Not you, not Ben, not Nawanik. Maybe my attitude stinks. I don't know.
I don't think it's.
Is this just not, like, just this all this drama, the way it's being reported, like, why is it coming out now? Like, what is it? Like, something stinks with this whole Cassidy Knobloch situation. I don't even know if I can put my finger on it or my nose on it about what stinks about it. But it just...
Wait, do you
it's just off. The whole thing is off.
What do you mean? Do you think... Do you think there's legitimacy to what was leaked earlier today? That the Oilers have tried to speak with Bruce Cassidy. Do you think that's true? Let's start there.
Probably.
So what's the biggest conundrum?
Well, I'm just trying to think, like, why would somebody tell somebody? Like, who benefits from this? I mean, it almost seems like this is being done just to embarrass Chris Knobloch. I mean, okay, so they want to look for a new coach. Okay, so Cassidy's available, though he's still. Now, you got to remember, a couple people have asked me, he was fired. No, actually, he wasn't fired. Technically, Bruce Cassidy was not fired by the Vegas Golden Knights. He was removed from his position as head coach.
Relieved of his duties as head coach.
He remains an employee of the team.
Mm-hmm.
He
as per his $4.5 million contract.
He remains an employee of the team. Right.
But is he involved with the team in any capacity? No.
No, probably not.
Right? So, I mean, there's so many different angles here to discuss.
Yeah, there are a lot of different angles. There are a lot of different angles.
I want to dovetail onto the Chris Knobloch.
Sure.
Put yourself in Chris Knobloch's shoes today, right now.
Right.
What are you thinking? Are you feeling betrayed?
I don't know how it would feel, because the one thing I've learned, Jay, is now I'll still give an opinion.
Okay, nobody knows the inner workings.
It's hard to know exactly how someone else is going to feel.
Fair enough.
Because you don't know their journey and their profession, right?
That's fair.
I don't know what it feels like to be a coach in the best hockey league in the world and to have had to work to get there. Whether, for people listening, whether they think he's good at his job or not.
But what do we know?
But if
we know that he's still the head coach.
Yes. Well, as far as we know, we don't know. Actually, to be quite fair, if you want me to really just throw conspiracy juice on the fire.
Well, he's not the head coach.
How do we know that Chris Knobloch hasn't been fired by the Oilers, relieved of his duties by the? How do we know that?
Because there hasn't been a press release. There hasn't been a
and
formal announcement.
Nothing has leaked or been reported. It is now, everybody. I'm just saying this to be somewhat cheeky, but think about it as a possibility. Can anybody rule out that Chris Knobloch has already been told he won't be back as the head coach? He could have already been told that. Now, likely it would get out, or he would not care and just tell people.
Okay, but then let's look at the optics of this then from a fan's perspective. Because from a Edmonton Oilers fan perspective, Chris Knobloch is currently the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers.
Sure.
So now for this to come out and Chris Knobloch is still your head coach, where and why, my question is, why would it be done this way? if Chris Knobloch is still currently your head coach for the Edmonton Oilers.
Right.
To me, that is unprofessional.
So if I were Knobloch, I'd probably be thinking, well, if you don't want me as the coach, then just tell me you don't want me as the coach. Because now, if for some reason I'm the coach at the start of next season, I have to go onto that bench with everybody knowing that you wanted to talk to somebody else about the job.
Assuming this is all true. Assuming that the Oilers did approach the Vegas Knights and ask permission.
Right.
That's another thing that, okay, it's been reported. I don't know. I just, from a human perspective, I don't know as Chris Knobloch what you would be thinking right now, assuming he is still currently the Edmonton Oilers head coach.
Right. So here's what Saravelli wrote. Now, it's all, and I'm not saying this to cast any doubt on Frank, but this has only come from him so far.
From Frank?
Yes. No,
Right.
nothing against Frank, but to me, Elliot Friedman is the guy when it comes to hockey reporting right now.
And the only thing Elliot
And
has
we
said...
got Chris Johnston, who's on with Dusty, Darren Dreger,
Right.
who's on with Dusty. Nobody else has, that I've seen, has sort of said like, oh yeah, I've looked into this and here's what I've found out. No, it doesn't mean they're not looking into it, but at the moment, we don't have anything else. So this is what Saravelli wrote. Sources said Vegas had not outright denied permission for Edmonton to interview Cassidy, but had more so kept the Oilers waiting as they continue playing their second-round series against Anaheim. Cassidy is also a target of the LA Kings vacancy. Now, the Kings have a vacancy. The Oilers do not. I mean, there are so many interesting ways to look at this and to say put yourself in that situation. Okay, so
Sure.
you asked me put yourself in in Knobloch's situation. All right, let me put it to you this way: put yourself in the situation of the Vegas Golden Knights. Hey, it's the Oilers. We'd like to interview Bruce Cassidy to be our head coach. Oh, well. Okay. No, I know apparently they didn't answer. But if I was Vegas, and am I not going to say, oh, well, Bruce is a career coach. He's been a coach for a long time. We want him to be able to pursue opportunities. Timing's a little weird, Edmonton, because you have a head coach. So if we're going to free up our employee to talk to you about a job, we want it to be a job that is currently needs to be filled. So because that's not the case, I really don't see why you should talk to him. Just as a precaution, just as a what if we like him enough to have him as our coach. Tell you what, Edmonton, if you actually are in the process of hiring a coach because you don't have one, call me back and you can talk to Bruce. That's what I would say.
Why would they give
understand
two
where it's coming
rips?
from?
Why? What the Oilers' status is though with Chris Knobloch? Why would they care?
I'm just saying that's.
I know, but
it
it certainly wouldn't be the first time in the history of professional sports that a team has went out and talked to another organization about
of course,
a coach,
and that's why
without a vacancy,
and is not Saravelli even speculating that Bettman might get involved and say don't block a coach from possibly getting a job.
So part of his original tweet was, to this point, sources say the Golden Knights have withheld permission. Does that mean they've even responded to the Oilers?
I read what he wrote in his article.
Right.
They have not outright denied permission, but have more so kept the Oilers waiting. So they haven't even replied. Or they've just said, well, hold on, we're in the middle of a playoff series. We have more important things to deal with.
Right. So this might be much ado about nothing.
Or maybe it's what I said. Maybe Vegas is saying, you want to interview Bruce to be your head coach. You have a head coach. Sorry, we're not going to let him interview for a job that is held by a colleague of his. You know what I mean? There's ways to spin that. There's ways where the Golden Knights could say, well, it would be improper of us to let Bruce interview for a job that a man he respects currently holds. Whether they feel that or Bruce Cassidy feels that or not.
Okay, that's fine. That's all good and fine. But the way this has become spun now is that screw the Vegas Golden Knights. They're withholding a coach who's no longer employed by them, but is employed by them contractually from taking a job offer with the Edmonton Oilers.
But it's
or
not a job
an
offer. It's
taking an interview. It's been a head-spinning day. The more you dive into it, though, the more cracks there are and little pathways that you can go down to say, well, what happened? Why did this happen?
Right.
Like, is this another Reid? I know Dusty was talking about it on pretty much every show he was a part of today, but is this another strike for the management of this team? For the Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson? That this is happening in front of everybody? And if it was meant to get out, well, then why would the Oilers want that to get out? I don't think this looks good on management.
It's a strike against if somebody from within OEG leaked this to Frank. That would be weird. I guess you could say Bowman and Jackson are trying to find the best person possible. You could say if they've already decided that that's not Knobloch, then let Knobloch be free to go find another job or do what he ever wants to do.
Oh, the Chris Knobloch that they just extended, that the extension hasn't kicked in yet for 3 more years?
Well, they extended it in September.
Well, for 3 years.
Right.
Is that part of the problem? That would then pretty much force their hand into saying they screwed up?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a whole other question. You can post in the nasty chat on YouTube. Jeremy says, I feel that's a bit of a reach, Reid. Well, fair enough. That's how I think. Max says it has to be Cates. Why the bleep do we keep firing coaches? Ridiculous. Bowman and Jackson should be gone. 17 C-Pot says, how many days can you talk about the Oilers? LOL, for F's sake, take a break. Hey, 17 C-Pots, if you're giving me days off, you're going to have to buy the company. That's 17 C-Pots. Weird flex, but okay.
CFL it is.
Well, we will have some CFL a little bit later on.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have a lot. But hey, this is a big story. It's the number one team in town. It's the number one story. All right, you can get in touch by posting in the Nasty Chat. That's the chat stream that's off and running on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up if you're there as well. Click that like button.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
All right, and we try to get to at least 100 thumbs every show. We've been doing a good job with that. Well, you've been doing a good job getting us there. You can email Reid at edmontonsportstalk.com, Jay at edmontonsportstalk.com, and, of course, you can text us using the afternoon inbox, 780-218-9999. That is presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, where they have the Tap 25 happy hour, all beers, including bottled, draft, import, domestic, select premium well highballs, and select premium wine served at Tap 25, Center Bar, Onyx, and on the casino floor. That's available Sunday to Thursday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., rivercreeresort.com. All right. We'll talk through this Oilers story. We will have Bellesy's going to be on the show, Shawn Belle at about 4 o'clock. Matthew Scianitti will be on the show. He's scheduled to join us at 5. 1 month from today, Canada plays its World Cup opener. Is Wannock going to this game?
I think so.
All right. Why are we clapping already?
For the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
I think the fans are a lot rowdier than that, soccer fans.
I think Matt's going to every World Cup game.
No, he isn't.
I think every game.
No, he isn't. He
Not
only has
just Canada.
he's only booked like one. Oh,
No, I think he's going to every
single game.
Yeah.
He's going to every single game.
They got the Econo pack.
Yeah, that's incredible. Buster says Wannock is not going to that game.
I don't know what games he's going to.
I think he's going to the games in Vancouver.
Ah.
I think he's driving. Buster says there is no requirement for Vegas to let him get a job if they're willing to pay him. You're right, but I think it's a professional courtesy, and this is why maybe Bettman would get involved, that if you don't want someone to do the job you hired him for, you can allow him to pursue opportunities elsewhere.
It's a tough precedent to set,
Right.
given the other 31 coaches in the NHL that would probably have something to say about it.
Right.
Right? Reid, I got a couple in the inbox we'll get to quick, and please keep sending these in, 780-218-9999. GM Parisian says, Bush League of the Oilers, Knobloch deserve better. Oilers should always strive to be a flagship franchise. That's how you win. Been really unimpressed with Bowman and Jackson. Timber Woodsman, the biggest issue is that Stan Bowman still has a job.
Well, and that's a good point. I mean, another story from this is that we're not talking about the GM possibly being replaced. We're talking about the head coach possibly being replaced.
Oh, isn't that
Which
interesting?
would lead you to believe the GM is going to be back for next season.
Would you say this is maybe a smokescreen? Take the eye of the fans off of the actual issue.
Well, no, I don't think so. The fans' eyes are on all the issues.
I think no. The fans' eyes are on the management of this team, first and foremost. That is where most of the eyes are, at least from what we've been hearing.
Well, probably, yeah. But
So what does this do? Is anybody, other than saying this is another misstep by this Oilers management group?
well, the misstep to me wouldn't be wanting to talk to Cassidy. It would be doing that when technically you're not actively looking for a coach.
It's the treatment of Chris Knobloch.
where you have a coach.
Like this,
Right.
Do you think this is going to look good for other Bruce Cassidy's looking at this saying, "Well, what if that's me next year?"
Right. Now, having said that, I mean, it's just the time. Like, I mean, usually when a coach is fired, they have a replacement right away. So the manager has already talked to the next coach, but it usually happens pretty fast. All right, let's get to the afternoon headlines for 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's best rock. Stream them on iHeart today. This is Chet Palmer with your sports report. The locals are sniffing around for a new bench boss. Coach Nobby must feel like my brother-in-law parking cars at his ex-wife's wedding. Going to be wild in Montreal. The Habs can take a 3-1 lead. Hey, Jason Milne, is that the Bleu Blanc et Rouge in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? The CFL approved some rule changes. Speaking of Rough Riders, the waitress at the Ponderosa finally coughed up her number. I'm Chet Palmer.
Oh, cheaper. So, where do I begin?
Yeah.
Chet's brother-in-law parked cars for his ex-wife's second
Yeah,
wedding.
he had to be the valet at the wedding, I think.
I guess when you
Or he
need
was
some
working at the
cash.
hotel where it was held.
Oh, maybe that's what it
He's
was.
parking all these cars.
I wonder if she did that out of spite.
Oh, probably.
The waitress at the Ponderosa. What does the waitress at the Ponderosa and the Rough Riders have to do in common?
I didn't write it. Chet wrote it.
That Chet. Some days he must be in a certain headspace today.
Yeah.
The Bleu Blanc et Rouge.
Yeah, he's bilingual.
Very clearly. Yes. Not bad, Chet. A lot of passion today in the chat and in the inbox.
Right, except for the person telling us not to talk about this topic that has everybody fired up. That person shouldn't program a radio station.
Well, see, you're speaking of 17 C-Pots who did say, well, if I'm listening, get more interesting. Well, we'll try our best for you.
Oh, we can make it really interesting if you want, C-Pots.
We can do a whole segment on you,
Yeah.
C-Pots. You let us know. Tell us 2 things you like and 2 things you don't like, and we'll run an hour on you. We'll run roughshod. We'll keep it going.
All right, let's drop. Well, this will be interesting. This is the off-topic topic. This is all Jay today. Presented by William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best can be is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout, 780-454-4536.
Well, my wife and I dropped the kids off at the school today, and we were coming out of the school parking lot, and there's a couple houses right there.
Okay.
And one of them had, you know, those big old satellite dishes
Yes.
that like one of your aunts or uncles used to have, and you'd be like, oh, when we go over there, we can watch any channel.
Right.
It's the coolest thing. Well, that was a piece of technology that is clearly obsolete now, but you still see them on people's lawns, backyards, roofs, wherever they were installed. And I laughed and I said to my wife, I was like, this would make a great off-topic topic. Like, what is a piece of technology that we are currently using that when, let's say, my daughters are my age.
Yeah, like perhaps still in our lifetimes even.
Right. Like, say, in 30, 40 years will be totally obsolete. Like, that satellite dish 30 years ago was the thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
they didn't last that long when you think about it. Like, by the late 90s, they were replaced
like
with the
15, 20 years maybe?
Yeah. They didn't last very long.
True enough.
Imagine that. Something in your backyard, the size of your backyard.
Yeah. There's still a guy in Sherwood Park that is like, I forget, it's on one of the main drags, and his backyard faces the main drag.
Yeah.
He must have 10 of these things in his backyard.
No
and
way.
a huge antenna at the top.
Do you think they still work?
Oh, probably with someone like that. I would imagine they are. So yeah, that's the off-topic topic for William Huff. What is something we use now that will eventually become obsolete?
And that the next generation will perhaps even chuckle at, like your children.
Right. Like the first thing I thought of, I mean, we were driving at this point.
Yeah.
I thought, when my daughters are my age, are they going to think, man, do you remember when you used to have to drive and like actually steer the car?
Oh, like we're going to have driverless vehicles.
Or like self-driving. Like you'd still be able to be there, and you could kick it into,
put it in the directions.
You could kick it into freestyle mode if you want once in a while. But yeah, like, is that going to become obsolete?
That's interesting, yeah.
Driving as we know it.
Yeah.
Gas, brake, steering.
Big Uke says, does cash count as technology? Yeah, we can count something like that. I mean, cash is already...
It's already not obsolete.
Fading away. It's fading away
but it's
quickly.
Certainly faded away due to technology.
First the noble penny, Jason Milne. Then, soon, the $5 bill. And then one day, perhaps all the books I once bound will themselves be obsolete.
Well, a bookbinder dropping in there for a second. We shouldn't have put that mic in his at his bookbinding station. All right, so the off-topic topic is something we use now that will, in the not-too-distant future, be outdated or obsolete. I guess it doesn't have to be technology, but maybe coming from, or maybe something that's going to be replaced by technology. Because I think what Big Uke said is like cash itself is not technology, but the whole process of buying and selling at like the retail is now a technological transaction, right? With the chip or the tap and all that stuff.
Yeah, even tap is scary. I don't know. If I had a mobile thing, could I not just come up and put $100 and just walk up behind you and
there's
tap
pranks
you on
of
the
that.
ass?
Well, yeah, you got to be careful with that.
There's pranks of that right now, like viral all over like Instagram and YouTube and stuff, of people like having a sound on their phone, like the clink sound whenever you tap your phone for a payment. There's like guy will go up to like, oh, like can I have $100? The guy's like, no, and then he'll go up to his like tap his phone and he'll play the sound and go ding, and the guys get so mad. Yeah, I hope there's not.
I wouldn't find that funny. I'd probably want to.
Yeah.
But it's
Rip that person limb from limb.
All right. Shawn Belle coming up at 4 o'clock. Let us know how you're feeling. Jay and I got the discussion rolling. This continues to be a significant story, I think, with the Oilers wanting to speak to Bruce Cassidy, who is still an employee of the Vegas Golden Knights, though he's not the head coach. And, well, again, the Knights have not said no. Apparently, they have not said anything. They have said neither yes nor no. Maybe there's some angle that we're not seeing this from. We touched on a few already. We'll dive into more. Matthew Scianitti at around 5 o'clock to talk about the Canadian soccer team. Here's Ben Thompson at the technical desk.
The Oilers have reportedly been withheld permission to speak with Bruce Cassidy by the Vegas Golden Knights, according to Frank Saravalli. Cassidy was fired in late March after 4 seasons and a Stanley Cup championship with Vegas, while John Tortorella was named his replacement behind the bench. The NHL playoffs continue tonight with a pair of matchups. The Canadiens and Sabres drop the puck at 5 p.m., followed by the Golden Knights and Ducks at 7:30. Elsewhere in the NHL, Charlie Coyle has signed a 6-year extension with the Blue Jackets worth $6 million annually to remain in Columbus. At the World Championships, Team Canada's roster continued to grow with additions of Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer. In MLB action, the Blue Jays look to bounce back tonight after an 8-5 loss to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin gets the nod for Toronto, while Shane McClanahan starts for Tampa Bay. First pitch goes at 5:07. There's also 14 games around the MLB tonight, with some of the featured matchups including the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers, Mariners against the Astros, Cardinals taking on the Athletics, and the Giants meet with the Dodgers to end off the night. The NBA playoffs continue this evening as the Timberwolves battle the Spurs at 6 p.m. That series is currently tied at 2-2. And finally, heartbreaking news from the NBA as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. The Vancouver-born forward causes of death has not yet been confirmed. This sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring. From current homes to small renovations, Edmonton's top builders and contractors rely on Paramount Flooring. Their in-house team handles everything from selections to completions, keeping projects on track and on time. Visit their showroom, open 7 days a week, or find them at ParamountFlooring.ca. More of the Reid Wilkins Show coming up for you on the other side of the break. I'm Ben Thompson, and you're up to date.
2 guys and a goalie.
Does a coach who had an excellent NHL playing career automatically carry more clout when he walks into a dressing room?
For me, I would say yes. All the coaches that I had in North America, and even in Europe too, they were all former players. I had Claude Julien. I had, obviously, Ron Lowe.
2 guys and a goalie, presented by GS Construction. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at noon, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
We have what you're looking for. GD Liquidators is Edmonton's one-stop shop for new and used warehouse, office, and industrial items since 1987. You'll find what you want when you want it. Give us a call, visit us in-store, or check out the monthly auctions at gdliquidators.com. 100% Canadian-owned and operated. We have what you are looking for. GD Liquidators.
Your home for great performances is
the River Cree Resort and Casino.
God, I wish I could meet somebody like you online. She's got me in the friend zone.
Don't miss Morgan Jay's musical comedy May 23rd.
9 p.m. show is sold out.
Second 6 p.m. show added. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino.
Excitement.
Bet on it.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
The Canadian Brewhouse has a happy hour for any scenario. You finished work early? Happy hour. You finished work because you accidentally hit reply all to the entire company? Big happy hour. Your boss said great job. Happy hour. Your boss said per my last email. Ugh, emergency happy hour. You finally closed the big deal. Happy hour. With a huge selection of ice cold drinks and great food, the Canadian Brewhouse has a happy hour for whatever just happened at work. The Canadian Brewhouse. Your day just got happier.
When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/EST. Must be 18 plus. If you gamble, use your game sense.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. He's Jason Milne. I'm Reid Wilkins, 3 to 6 p.m. every weekday here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Portions of this hour are presented by the Edmonton Elks. The only way to experience it is being there when it happens. Get your season seats today. Our city, our year. Lock in your season seats at goelks.com/season seats. We're going to have plenty of Elks coverage over the course of the CFL season. We had Mark Killam on the show on Friday. Jay's been covering Elks training camp. And every Tuesday during the season, from 5 to 5:30, we will have the Mark Killam Show.
Yeah.
So as part of this show, the Mark Killam Show, Tuesdays 5 to 5:30, once we get into the CFL regular season, on top of other Elks coverage and guests and all the great stuff that we always do. And the Green and Gold kickoff show and postgame shows are coming back with you and Maddie before and after every Elks game.
Yes, and note on that as well, Reid, is that for home games this year, we've partnered up with Commonwealth Stadium. They are the presenting sponsor, so it's going to be the Commonwealth Stadium Green and Gold kickoff show and post-game show. And for home games, we will be live from the rec center at Commonwealth Stadium. So
that'll be awesome.
Pretty fantastic partnership. We're excited for it. Gives us the opportunity to be on site for home games, which I'm really looking forward to. I think you get a completely different perspective of the game, at least for me, and I'm pretty sure Maddie agrees as well. So we're really looking forward to that.
You got to love people who have a chuckle about this. Zedmo in the Nasty Chat says, the Knight said knee. That's pretty good. If you are watching us on YouTube this afternoon, give us a thumbs up. Hammer that like button. Let's see how quickly we can get over 100 likes. You can post in the Nasty Chat on YouTube, and you can text the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999.
Inferior Woods asks, Reid, if Nobbs does get fired, does he have another job as a head coach in the league? When's the last time the Oilers had a coach other teams were willing to lining up to interview once they're done with the Oilers? Well, look at Dallas.
Todd McClellan.
Well, Glenn Gulletson.
No, but that's not what he means. He means head coach.
He said, when did the Oilers have a coach other teams were lining up to interview? I can only answer how it's written, Friedrich.
Fair enough. I think he means head coach. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can never rule out being a head coach again. Would it happen immediately for Chris Knobloch? I'm not sure that it would. I mean, Jay Woodcroft was gone for a while. Now he's an assistant with Anaheim, and now you hear his name popping up as maybe he's going to be a head coach again.
So is he generally saying that the Oilers have an ability to take a coach and make them unsavory by the end of their tenure with the team?
No, I think he's saying that the Oilers haven't hired good coaches.
Well, Chris Knobloch was the coach of the team that took them to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. You can't say he was awful then.
No, I don't think he's awful. I mean, McClellan is still coaching. Tippett retired from coaching, basically, after the Oilers let him go. We'll see what happens with Woodcroft, I guess. And if Knobloch's not back, we'll see what happens with him. Who else? I mean, I'm not going to count Nelson and Hitchcock because they were associate coaches. Dallas Aikens eventually coached in the NHL again. Didn't he coach Anaheim for 4 years? Who am I missing? There's been a lot of coaches in there. Okay, who has McDavid had? McClellan, Hitchcock, I'm not counting. Tippett.
Mm-hmm. Then to Woody.
Then to Woody.
Then to Knob.
Then to Knobloch.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 coaches, right?
Right.
Sean says, someone in this organization wants Nobbs to unleash his pissy mode by releasing this rumor. Chris will be back next season with a goatee and an FU attitude.
He'll be back where?
Here with the Oilers next season with a goatee and an FU attitude. I like the goatee. That does change the perception of him.
And he should like smoke a cigarette on every
Yeah,
post.
just say screw it.
Yeah, just go full blown like I run this.
What are you going to do? Kick me out? Amos Moses. Knobloch is going to get paid regardless, fired or working. It's awkward as hell, I'm sure, but he can just stay quiet, never discuss it, and ride off into the sunset with his bags of money if they let him go.
Yeah. Well, if you get hired by somebody else, then the Oilers got to pay the difference, right?
Library Pat. when Chris Knobloch was hired, they must have talked to him before Woodcroft was officially fired, just based on the timing of the announcement. This stuff happens regularly, I think. It just doesn't always get leaked. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but here's the distinction I would say is that when Jackson or Holland went to Knobloch, or they decided to bring Woody up, they probably said, we are firing our coach and we're offering you the job. Whereas in this case, again, as far as we know, Knobloch is still the coach. So I realize in those other ones were also mid-season, right? Not off-season, so it's a little different as well. So yes, that is the sports business. Teams often make announcements, as the Vegas Golden Knights did. Hey, Bruce Cassidy's no longer our coach. Welcome aboard, John Tortorella. So they had to talk to somebody ahead of time. But I think that person was talked to, was basically offered the job, as opposed to like, hey, can we interview you? Because like we have a coach, but I don't know. Like maybe you're cuter. I don't know. Stealth Legend says, people use this narrative that Knobloch brought us to 2 straight Stanley Cup finals, but we can also remember that he had Coffey and Gulletson. Then this season, when he didn't have them, we took a step back. Well, I've been saying all year long that I think Gulletson was a huge loss.
Sure. Yep. It was.
I think Coffey's contribution can be highly debated. I mean, he did return this season, and they didn't get much better. Coffey's also, like, it's very awkward with Coffey that he's, apparently the number 2 in hockey ops underneath the owner. Like it's very odd how that whole situation has been played out.
I don't know. I just feel like this organization, just with the way things have been handled, the comments that have been made, almost the negligence from upper management, it just seems very unprofessional.
Well, okay, so Bowman got asked, I think it was the first question on the Saturday. Wasn't it a Saturday? Yeah, they lost on Thursday. The first question was, can you confirm that Chris Knobloch will be the coach next year? And Bowman wouldn't confirm it. He just said, we got to look at everything and we have to evaluate everything. So if you've evaluated everything that you don't want him to be the coach, then tell him that. Now, maybe he's been told that and we don't know. But if you're going to actually look for a new coach, because it's kind of like they're hedging their bets. It's like, well, Cassidy's out there. We should get him. Well, what if we can't get him? Okay, we need Chris.
You think there's a possibility that Chris Knobloch still is the head coach of this team next year?
Why
after all this?
Why not?
Why would he? You think he wants to be here? Do you think the Oilers
want him to be here? I don't know how he feels.
Okay, but do you think the Oilers want him to be here? How could they want him to be here if they're out asking somebody else to be their head coach? That means they do not want him. That's at least how I see it. So are you saying that he's their second choice?
Okay, I'm going to be quite blunt here, Jay. You're asking me to apply logic to this organization.
Forgive me. I'm sorry, Reid. I'm terribly sorry. That's foolish of me.
I mean, I know that's not a very explanatory answer, but what? Wait.
That might be the funniest.
You want me to
exchange we've ever had.
You're coming to me and saying, hey, in this organization that has done all these weird things over the years, you're asking me to rule out a weird thing happening, which wouldn't even be the weirdest thing that I've seen.
Yes.
So,
that was very
I'm not asking you how you would run a team or a business.
True. That's fair. And you know what? We're laughing, but that is crazy that what you're saying actually makes 100% complete sense. That tells a lot. That tells a story. Ken in the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999. Reid, I think you're approaching the leak wrong because the Knights are dicks, so say ruthless. They probably leaked their permission request as a way to embarrass the Oilers. Yes, the Oilers should have relieved Coach K first and walked into this trap. But I can't believe that there's that much incompetence in the Oilers management to have something this delicate leak.
Yeah, I mean, again, I guess we don't know for sure who it came from, so that's as good a theory as any. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. But again, the Golden Knights, I still think if the Oilers, because at least publicly, the Oilers do not have a vacancy in the head coaching job. So let's say they had a vacancy in their head coaching job and this came out. Then I think the Knights would be
villains.
They would look sillier in that situation.
I agree.
Because then they would say, this guy who's, been coaching for a long time in the NHL, has a pretty good reputation, he's being sought, and you're blocking him from maybe taking the next step in his career, whether it's a divisional rival or not.
Now, because you do have a head coach, at least publicly, that's the perception, this is now an embarrassment for the Oilers.
Right. $780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox.
It's a spicy box today.
Well, as it should be. As it should be. We're in the Canadian Brewhouse studio. Afternoons just got a serious upgrade at the Canadian Brewhouse. Happy hour runs Monday to Saturday, 2 to 6 p.m. Deals starting at $3.99. Make the smart move and head to the Canadian Brewhouse. Shawn Belle coming up at 4. Jay's play of the day in a couple minutes as well. Here's Benny Thompson.
The Oilers have reportedly been withheld permission to speak with Bruce Cassidy by the Vegas Golden Knights, according to Frank Saravalli. Cassidy was fired in late March after 4 seasons and a Stanley Cup championship with Vegas, while John Tortorella was named his replacement behind the bench. The NHL Playoffs continue tonight with a pair of matchups. The Canadiens and Sabres drop the puck at 5 p.m., followed by the Golden Knights and Ducks at 7:30. Elsewhere in the NHL, Charlie Coyle has signed a 6-year extension with the Blue Jackets worth $6 million annually to remain in Columbus. At the World Championships, Team Canada's roster continues to grow with the additions of Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer. And Charlie McAvoy has been suspended 6 games for his slash on Zach Benson. This suspension will carry on to the first 6 games of the Bruins regular season next year. In MLB action, the Blue Jays look to bounce back tonight after an 8-5 loss to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin gets the nod for Toronto, while Shane McClanahan starts for Tampa Bay. First pitch goes at 5:07. There are also 14 other games around the majors tonight with some of the featured matchups, including the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers, Mariners against Astros, Cardinals taking on the Athletics, and the Giants meeting the Dodgers. The NBA playoffs continue this evening as the Timberwolves battle the Spurs at 6 p.m. That series is currently tied 2-2. And finally, heartbreaking news from the NBA as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. The Vancouver-born forward's cause of death has not yet been confirmed. The sports update is brought to you by Say the Reid Sport Medicine. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists, and you've got a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best at the game. The best in the game at Say the Reid Sport Medicine. Call 780-460-9977 or visit their website at saythereidsportmed.ca to book an appointment today. More of the Reid Wilkins Show coming up on the other side of the break. I'm Ben Thompson, and you're up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Craig Button.
Leon Draisaitl said we've gone backwards. I've been very clear. 75 to 80% of this is on management. Go and change the coach. Bruce Cassidy's a hell of a coach. Feels like everybody wants to run Chris Knoblauch out of town. So chase him out of there. Bring in a new coach. They're not going anywhere near the Stanley Cup if they don't improve the roster. Full stop.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Some of us are walking, others are biking. Together, we are accelerating the pace of MS research breakthroughs. This May, join Sentinel Storage at an MS walk in your community. Sentinel Storage, proud partner of MS Canada.
At Firehouse Subs, our subs are freshly toasted, stacked high, and crafted to satisfy. Each sub is piled high with premium meats, melty cheese, and toasted to perfection. Firehouse Subs brings bold flavor to every bite, all served on a freshly toasted roll. But we're not just feeding Edmonton, we're fueling it. Dig into the brisket hat trick, piled with slow-smoked brisket and melty cheese. Or go to the Firehouse Subs fan favorite, the Hook and Ladder. Made to order with smoked turkey, honey ham, and Monterey Jack cheese on a perfectly toasted roll. With 15 Firehouse Sub locations across Edmonton and the greater area, it's easy to grab a hot and hearty sub close to home. Firehouse Subs. Hot, hearty, made to satisfy.
Your home for great performances is
the River Cree Resort and Casino.
God, I wish I could meet somebody like you online. She's got me in the friend zone.
Don't miss Morgan Jay's musical comedy May 23rd.
9 p.m. show is sold out.
Second 6 p.m. show added. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino.
Excitement.
Bet on it.
Goodwill is
one shopper, finding something I never knew I needed. A jacket, a deal, one donor, letting go of something so someone else can move forward.
One program participant,
learning,
trying,
building skills,
building confidence,
building a future.
One purchase, one donation,
one job, one choice.
Goodwill is
the power of one, the power of one, the power of one, the power of one.
Goodwill Industries of Alberta. It all starts with one.
Somewhere, someone is sitting on a patio that is literally part of the parking lot. They're hot, uncomfortable, and bored. Do not be that person. The Canadian Brewhouse has a rooftop, real turf, misters, fire tables, patio games, big screens, and zero reason to be bored. This summer, your standards are higher than a parking lot, and you know it. The Canadian Brewhouse, Canada's best patios.
Looking for flooring? Paramount Flooring has it all. Sales, service, and expert installation. With options for every style and budget. Open 7 days a week. We've got you covered. Quick delivery and in-stock deals. Plus, EST listeners get 10% off. Visit ParamountFlooring.ca today.
All right, hope you're having a great afternoon. Shawn Belle coming up at the top of the hour. It'll be good to get his perspective on some of the Oilers speculation coming out today. We'll keep talking about that with you as well. We're getting a lot of text to the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999. We'll get to as many of those as we can throughout the course of the afternoon. You can post in the nasty chat on YouTube. If you are taking us in on YouTube, you have the added bonus of being able to give us a thumbs up. Hit that like button, and let's see how quickly we can soar past 100 today. All right.
It's Jay. It's play. He's Jay. It's today. It's Jay's play of the day. It's Jay's play of the day. Jay's play of the day.
Presented by Play Alberta. When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. playalberta.ca/EST.
Okay, Reid, we're going to the NHL. Got a couple games tonight. We got Buff Muddle and Anna Vukica. So Buff Muddle's at 5. Anna Vukica is at 7:30. I'm going to the Anaheim game, Reid. The series is tied 2-2. I've never thought that Anaheim has looked out of it or looked like, okay, Vegas is going to turn it on. And I just don't think Anaheim's going away. I know that right now the favorite, certainly tonight, is Vegas. But I wanted to have a little fun, put something together, a little spicy.
Okay.
You know, just like the Brew House hot wings. The poblano jalapenos.
Oh, those are good. Those are really good.
So I wanted to spice up Jay's play of the day. So here's what I cooked up, Reid. Who's probably the most dangerous goal scorer for the Anaheim Ducks?
Carlson?
Leo Carlson, 1 or more goals. Who's been the best defender? Well, who is the best player for the Anaheim Ducks all around in round 1?
Who's been the best Duck?
Yeah. All around.
Well, Carlson's pretty good.
Carlson, Jackson Lacombe.
Well, yeah, he's been very good, yes.
He's leading the team in assists still. And Alex Killorn, who I just think is a pain in the ass in a good way.
Right.
So Leo Carlson to score a goal. Jackson Lacombe to have 1 or more assists. Alex Killorn to have 1 or more assists as well. That was boosted to plus 1,200, Reid. That's 13-1 your way, right?
Yes.
So that's over at playalberta.ca. Click on sports, click on EST specials. There's some futures plays in there for the Elks. My over 7.5 regular season wins is still in there for plus 150. So head on over, check it out. If you haven't downloaded the Play Alberta app, please do so. And go to playalberta.ca/EST for a lot more information on how you can get involved. Reid, always remember to use your game sense.
It's Jay, it's play, he's Jay, it's today. It's Jay's play of the day. It's Jay's play of the day. Jay's play of the day.
All right, presented by Play Alberta. All right, so a lot of discussion today about the Frank Saravelli report, the headline on hockey247.com. Sources, Golden Knights have withheld permission for Oilers to interview Bruce Cassidy. And then here's the key sentence in this article written by Frank. Sources said Vegas had not outright denied permission for Edmonton to interview Cassidy, but had more so kept the Oilers waiting as they continue playing for their second-round series against Anaheim. Cassidy also a target of the LA Kings vacancy. And he actually wrote here, which I talked about, it's possible that the Golden Knights' answer is that Edmonton is seeking permission for a vacancy that does not yet exist.
So, does that mean there should be something coming out from the Oilers camp in the next day or two?
Well, who knows? Stay tuned. Maybe something happens during this show.
Well, if that's the roadblock and that's the coach they want to move forward with, then the second part of this...
And this is the thing. Like it's common practice to have a new coach in place before you fire the previous coach. But that often happens very quickly, like in the course of a couple days.
In season?
Off season's different, right? And then going through this process of waiting to speak to somebody while you supposedly still have a coach whose extension is going to kick in on July 1st. To me, that's what makes this unusual. What else do we have coming in?
Oh, lots, Reid.
Afternoon inbox, River Cree Resort and Casino, 780-218-9999.
Well, we'll get to some of these, and then we'll revisit the off-topic topic in a bit, okay?
Okay.
Sean says, is the possibility of coaching a team that's still a Stanley Cup contender good enough to sign on, or is this unprofessional handling of Coach Knob make any new coach think twice before signing?
Well, I guess you'd have to ask each individual coach that. I would think that coaches want to work. And my experience, and I'm sure most people will understand this if they've watched pro sports, been around athletes, like they all think they're going to be the ones, right?
Yeah, they have an ego for a reason.
Yeah.
Most athletes.
So I don't.
Again,
do. This is just me speculating, but I think if Bruce Cassidy were offered the job, I don't think he would be thinking about, I can't believe that's how they handled the Knobloch situation.
Well, he wouldn't be thinking about the end.
I think he'd be thinking about, they wanted me, and I can do it. Here I go. Watch me do it.
Right. Did you mean to rhyme? Say that again.
I don't know what I just said.
Oh. Here I go. Watch me do it. Do you think they think I can do it? No.
I don't even know what I said.
You did rhyme. Tony says, I personally don't think Knobloch, Bowman, or Jackson should be secure after the embarrassing season this team had all around. This comes in from an unnamed textor. Well, I think it might be Hammer, I'm looking at this right. Hammer says if Nobbs is fired, he'll be the Leafs coach in less than a week. I don't know.
Isn't Berube the coach there?
Yeah, he is. Kind of sounds familiar. Dash says coach felt cute. Will probably be deleted later. I don't understand that.
Well, I said something like you're cuter. I don't know.
Okay.
Will not be deleted.
Big Dave, I think the Oilers as an organization have done a horrible job with hiring and firing since they decided to move on from Ken Holland. Making him a lame duck GM, as Tom has said, was the beginning of a downward spiral.
Yeah, you know, I'll say this about Ken Holland, and I know whenever we bring up Ken Holland, we as it is, we have obviously a very passionate and opinionated fan base. Everybody has their favorites and their enemies, and I realize, you know, my buddy James in the chat, one of them, like hates Ken Holland. I'll say this. From my experience covering the team, which is not as long as some people, but it's been, 14 years now, that there was a certain maturity and stability around the team when Holland was there that I didn't feel at other times.
Maturity and stability. Just where it's like, Kate, we're doing this. We treat people well. These are our goals. Let's go execute them. And yes, not like, okay, don't send me a list of Holland's bad contracts. Okay, I'm aware of them, everybody. I'm just saying sort of the energy around the team, you know, was sort of a little bit more. Again, there just seemed like it was more professional and more stable. So yeah, now we're seeing things like this. This comes in John Kirby in the chat. Big update on the head coach thing. Vegas allowed Bruce Cassidy to interview with LA, but denied him an interview with Edmonton. That's not true. I think LA was interested, at least from what Elliot Friedman said, but Vegas has not denied the Oilers. Correct?
Well, they haven't said yes.
Right, but they haven't said no, you can't talk to him. They just, I guess,
apparently they just they haven't said yes, right? No, we don't know why they haven't said yes, or again, if they said something like, "We're not going to let you talk to Bruce for a job that doesn't exist."
McLovin says just because the Oilers haven't put out a press release on Knob doesn't mean he hasn't been fired.
Well, that's what I've said. How do we know he's the coach? We can't know for sure he's still the head coach. Maybe he has been told he's not. I don't know. I don't know anything.
Why would Saravelli include that at the end of his piece there, where you said, why would the Vegas goal something to do with that there is no vacancy?
Well, because I guess that would be part of the leak. If someone was going to leak this, they would probably also say, "And by the way, there was a fired Knobloch. They just haven't announced it."
I don't think one would happen without the other.
All right, we better break because Shawn Belle is coming up. We'll keep talking about this. It's a fun day, isn't it?
It's like a little bit of a whodunit.
Yeah, 780-218-9999, River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino. Check out their mobile app, free to download. Get exclusive offers and promotions. Get show tickets. Make reservations for hotel rooms and restaurants. Safe, secure, and easy to use. 4 o'clock break.
The EST Hangout.
But at the same time, is it really fully good for the health? Yeah. And as you're drinking alcohol, you're slowly killing yourself slightly or poisoning your body.
If you don't have the 1 or 1.5 glasses of wine a day, and then at the end of the week you have like 7 glasses on one day, does that still count? Does that make it equal or no?
I believe that's binge drinking.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Wholesat, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
Worksite ready, Western tough. Lamley's Workwear is calling all tradespeople, oil and gas crews, construction workers, farmers, and hard-working Canadians. Built for the job with quality craftsmanship, job site protection, and cowboy-worthy durability. Trusted brands like Airy at Work and Wrangler Rigs, designed for performance and all-day comfort on the toughest sites. No matter the season, Lamley's has the workwear you need. Shop the full range now at lamleys.com/work.
LAMMLES.
Time for a new career in 2026? Or maybe your kid is still pondering their path. Good news! Weiss Johnson is hiring. It's Dennis, and not only are we hiring for heating and air conditioning, we're also looking for experienced plumbers and gas fitters. With the growth in residential development, there's no shortage of opportunities at Weiss Johnson. Choose your path with us. Learn from one of the industry leaders, and we will grow together. Receive great benefits and school reimbursement as well. Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
The Oilers have reportedly withheld permission to speak with former Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy, according to Frank Saravalli. Cassidy was relieved of his duties in late March after 4 seasons and a Stanley Cup championship in Vegas, with John Tortorella taking over behind the bench. The NHL Playoffs continue tonight with a pair of games on the schedule. The Canadiens and Sabres face off at 5 p.m. before the Vegas Golden Knights take on the Anaheim Ducks at 7:30. Around the NHL, Charlie Coyle has signed a 6-year extension worth $6 million annually, with the Blue Jackets remain in Columbus. At the World Championships, Team Canada has added even more firepower to its roster, with Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer joining the squad. And Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy has been suspended 6 games for his slash on Zach Benson. The suspension will carry into the first 6 games of Boston's regular season next year. In MLB action, the Blue Jays look to rebound tonight after falling 8-5 to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin gets the start for Toronto, while Shane McClanahan goes for Tampa Bay. First pitch is set for 5:07. There are also 14 other games around majors tonight, including featured matchups between the Diamondbacks and the Rangers, Mariners and Astros, Cardinals and Athletics, as well as the Giants taking on the Dodgers to end off the night. The NBA playoffs continue tonight with the Timberwolves battling the Spurs at 6 p.m., and that series is tied at 2 apiece. And finally, heartbreaking news out of the NBA as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. Vancouver-born forward's cause of death is being reportedly investigated as an overdose. The sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood the Duke, locally owned and operated, serving the Duke and surrounding area since '93. Doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff at Windsor Plywood the Duke. Shawn Belle coming up right here on the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Ben Thompson. You're up to date.
All right, good to have you tuning in this afternoon, 4 minutes after 4. Jason Milne, Reid Wilkins on Edmonton Sports Talk, presented by Play Alberta. We're with you 3 to 6 p.m. every weekday. Lot to talk about, as usual. Of course, Oilers grabbing the headlines today. What do we got? The Habs game at 5. Can we put that on the TV?
Yeah.
Habs Sabres. Big game, Ducks and Golden Knights a little bit later on. Blue Jays back on the diamond today against the Rays. So a lot of things to keep an eye on. What? Uh-oh.
It's Homer Simpson's birthday today.
How do we know what his birthday is?
Homer J. Simpson is a fictional character and the main protagonist of the American animated sitcom The Simpsons. Heard of it? Part of the Homer made his television debut in the short Good Night on the Tracy Ullman Show on April 19th, 1987. That did not tell me how we know it's his birthday.
No.
How do we know it's his birthday?
I don't know. They must have assigned him a birthday on the show at
Happy
some point.
70th Homer Simpson, as seen on his driver's license in the classic 1993 Simpsons episode Duffless. Homer Simpson's official birthday is May 12th, 1956.
Oh, wow.
He's 70. Huh.
Well, but in the show, he's still like 40, whatever, isn't he?
Well, none of them age.
Well, true. Imagine if they would have aged the characters. That'd be amazing.
Well, didn't they have some times where they went in the future and Lisa was grown up and Bart was an adult?
Yeah, and they've even flashed. Yeah, they've even gone past what those flash forward to. Well, fun fact. Thank you, Jay.
Poopy diaper Bart's.
Yes, that's right. All right, let's go to the Oil Country Towing video hotline. Oil Country Towing, Edmonton's most trusted 24/7 roadside rescue team. Fast, safe, and reliable for over 15 years, whether it's game day or a snowstorm. You got audio coming through there, Jay?
Sorry about
Whether
that.
it's game day or a snowstorm, we work as hard as your favorite team to get you going. Call 780-986-6088 for all your towing needs. Colleague here at Edmonton Sports Talk. He's also on Hello Hockey every Saturday with Tom Gazzola. Shawn Belle checking in. Oh, hello, Bellsy.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Oh, never a dull moment, buddy. Never a dull moment with this hockey club. Eh?
Let me tell you, we're not even talking about the hockey club right now. I am just trying to get safely home.
Where are you?
It's crazy. It's crazy. I had to pull over because the traffic was too much. I couldn't get home. I wanted to be safe and sound on these roads, but apparently here we are. So that's where I'm at.
You thought you'd be home in time to do the hit from home.
I did. I am stuck in my car now, but I was definitely trying to get home, and it's been an interesting commute. Let's just call it that.
Did you have a story you wanted to share or not today?
No, because I'll take up all 30 minutes of it. So no, I'm going to just leave that one alone.
Yeah, there's nothing else to talk about. So why don't you?
No. There's nothing. There's nothing to talk about. That orange and blue team.
Yeah. Okay.
Different things and different stories. So there's that.
Well, let's dive into this. And we've had a great hour of discussion. We've heard from a lot of listeners with opinions on this. You've probably seen some stuff in your day too, behind the scenes of how players and coaches and managers maybe were treated or not treated fairly. So, or does this make you think, oh, this is really bad, or does this make you think like, yeah, welcome to the hockey world? If only we all knew.
Let's go with that one, because it is welcome to the hockey world. And, I've said it a few times. It's, well, what have you done for me lately? And unfortunately, in this particular situation, when you look at a team that has Stanley Cup aspirations, and you got a group that, doesn't, hold up to the standard, well, things are going to be shaken up. And the easiest thing to do is to potentially get rid of the coach or get rid of the coach. So yeah, it's a cruel world. It's harsh. And, it is something that I consistently try to talk about. It's something that I can consistently try to tell my young hockey players, that the higher you go, the more ruthless it gets.
So do you, assuming that this is the end for Chris Knobloch, but maybe it hasn't officially happened, like, do you feel for him in this? Like, the first thing Jay asked me today was, how does Chris Knobloch feel right now?
It feels terrible, because I am pretty sure that guy poured his heart and soul into, to the orange and blue, the Oilers. So yeah, I do feel for him, because at the end of the day, like, was it Chris Knobloch that failed the Edmonton Oilers? I don't personally think so. I don't think he had a good enough group, a good enough team. It's 2 years ago, he gets to the Stanley Cup Finals. They're within one goal of winning it, and has the team been as good since that particular moment? And I think we could all probably agree that we don't think it's been as good since that particular time. So now you fast forward 2 years, you get into this particular season, and the team wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough from the start of the year. It wasn't good enough to the end of the year. And you listen to what, Connor and Leon talk about, and guess what? They consistently say, well, the team's average. It hasn't been good enough. And this is probably the first time we've seen, here in oil country, that the captains have called out management or called out the coaching staff. And it's happened within, let's call it a, 12-month span, dating back all the way to the Stanley Cup playoffs last year.
Shawn Belle joining us here on the Reid Wilkins Show, courtesy of the Oil Country Towing Video Hotline. Is this I would wonder what the poll would look like, Bellsy, if you said, who's the most to blame here? If you can blame. And let's not forget that the Oilers have played a lot of hockey in the last 3 seasons of hockey. Everybody around here, including yourself and Tommy, said this might be a bit of an off year, a regrouping year. So I preface it with that maybe there's a slight overreaction here overall. But if you were to look at a poll and say who's most at fault for this, and you had management as a choice and head coaching as a choice, I'd be interested to see that, because I feel like management right now, at least if this were to go through and this were to happen the way at least it's being laid out here, I think management's getting a bit of a free pass. What do you think about that?
Yeah, if firing the coach is the answer, then I would fully agree with you that management is getting a free pass. But I'm going to put a third option in there, and the players are also, guilty of it too, because they've already gone out and they said, okay, well, we don't view the regular season as, that important. So if you don't go out of your way to consistently play and have the right details and the right habits throughout the regular season, how do you expect it all of a sudden to just magically show up in the playoffs? So there's been a lot of conversation around, can we run this particular team back? And if they do, with guys being healthy, does it change? Well, that's a great question, because, does it change? Because one of the things that we consistently saw over the course of the year was that they did cheat. They didn't care about the details. They didn't really want to play in the defensive end. So those are questions. And yes, we can sit back and say, okay, well, the coaching staff has to motivate the players. The coaching staff has to, implement the system. But who's executing all of those things? So I do think that, you firing Chris Knoblauch is a free pass for management. Management didn't give, Chris Knoblauch and his staff a good enough roster. So that would be number one. And then number two, for me, it's, well, who's executing the system? Like, we can't consistently go back and back and back. It's always a coach, always a coach, always a coach. At some point, the guys that are in the locker room have to also execute. And so that's why I want to put that third option in there.
Yeah. Shawn Belle joining us on the Oil Country Towing Video Hotline. By the way, just because people are putting in the chat, John Rosen, one person here who covers NHL, says, I've been informed Cassidy interviewed with the Kings this past Friday. He put that in the last hour. So, yeah, somebody was asking about that or put something in there. So, whatever. I still think Vegas would say to the Oilers, you have a coach. Why should we let Bruce speak to you about a job that isn't available? But we'll see what happens there. We got to touch on some others here. Well, I want to touch on Montreal Buffalo. I have loved watching the Habs play. I said on the show yesterday, when I watch the Montreal Canadiens, I cannot tell the difference between line 1 and line 4. Like, I know who they are because of the, but if I just started watching them and didn't know the stats or the history of the players, I couldn't tell you. They just all go out there and play. And I think it's quite frankly been beautiful to watch Montreal up to, so far in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's when you're constructing a team and you think about the playoffs and what you're ultimately trying to achieve, having 4 lines that can all go out there and play and consistently play hard, and you're going at teams wave after wave. That is I think the I think that's a goal. I think that's what you're trying to get to from a roster standpoint. Because if you look at the Florida Panthers, that's what they did. They did that extremely well, and they played the Oilers in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the first two lines were more or less a wash. But who won the series last year? Well, it's the third line. And if you have lines 1 through 4 consistently going, and everybody's contributing to the ultimate success, well, that's a really hard team to handle, because at no point do you get a break if you're the opposing team. That's a grind, because they can consistently just wear you down shift after shift after shift, because nothing changes. They forecheck hard, they play in your face, they've got a lot of skill throughout the lineup. As an opposing team, to me, that's a bit of a matchup nightmare, because you can go, okay, well, I'm going to pick, my top defensive pairing. Who am I going to put them out against? Doesn't really matter, because the next group's going to do the exact same thing. So they're causing all sorts of problems for the Sabres. I thought the series, I'm going to say this, but I'm going to probably regret it, because I think Buffalo is, going to probably do a little bit better than I'm suggesting. But at the same time, I go, okay, well, what can Buffalo do to really slow down Montreal? Because the way that it's been played, the series has been played since that first game, Montreal has been flying all over the ice. And now you're back in Montreal, and the Bell Center is rocking. And I've said it before, like, if you're a home team and you go into a game and you feel a little bit lethargic, and you have a building like the Bell Center with the fans going as crazy as they do, you instantaneously get life. Good luck against that. Right. So to me, it's like, Montreal's in a very good situation. They play with a lot of energy. They play with a lot of passion. They got the Bell Center behind them. To me, it's a very uphill battle for the Buffalo Sabres.
All right, and I'll just ask you one more about that series, and then we'll let you get home. And I had Jody Shelley on yesterday, and I asked him the same question. Jakub Dobeš, emotional. Like, when there's a scrum, he doesn't skate to the corner like a lot of goalies and say, this isn't part of my job. He's right in there, slashing, pushing, yelling at the Sabres bench. What do you think of that? And do you have a story about an emotional goaltender that you played with or against?
I do. I think it's great, because he's in the fight with the rest of the guys. And it's... People always talk about goaltenders and they're solitary creatures. Well, the fact that Dobeš is getting involved and he's doing just as much as all the other guys, that shows a certain level of camaraderie and togetherness as a group. So I personally like it. And to me, it seems like the guy is extremely, fiery. He's extremely passionate about what he wants to do. And clearly he's very competitive. So for me, I don't want him to change his game. I just want to make sure that he's not getting too animated or too involved in the extracurriculars. It's just, if you have an opportunity, do what you need to do to make sure that you're, towing that particular line that clearly he needs to be on. And yeah, I've got a story, and it's Mike Smith. Mike Smith was, he's a very emotional guy. He's a bit of a nut, and I'll never forget this. It's one of my first year pro. I think Mike had been playing a few years at this point. And I might have told this story already, but warm-up drills, Mike was always a guy that would be like, hey, like, put it in my glove, put it on my blocker. Let's make sure that, I'm warm. I want to make sure that I'm good. I don't want you to go bar down. I don't want you to rip this thing off my ear or my collarbone. And we had this European kid, Wojtek Polak, and he was, great kid, very innocent, but I don't think he understood let's warm up the goaltender. And Mike was always the type of guy that if in warmups you did go bar down on him, or you decided that, you're going to whistle one by his ear, he would take that puck and you would shoot it right back into the line. So all of a sudden now you're ducking for this, for pucks, because he's ripping the puck back into the line. And he tells Wojtek, he goes, listen, man, you shoot another one high at me in warmups, I'm going to kill you. So Wojtek doesn't understand a ton of, English, and he's just happy-go-lucky, and he does his thing. So I just shot the puck, and Wojtek comes down on the right wing, and he rips one, and it's like right by his ears. And Smitty, without hesitation, he turns around and he swings his stick at Wojtek's head. And luckily, Wojtek was paying attention. He ducked, and it just grazed over the top of his helmet, or else he was taking a stick fully in the mouth. And, that was just, as crazy as that was, nothing really happened because, Smitty calmed down after, and, a couple of the leaders told him to just chill out and whatnot, but he was pretty fired up. But he was a competitor. You saw it here in Edmonton. A guy that was that wanted to do everything. He got into the fight with Talbot. He was emotional. He was a locker room leader. He was a different cat when it came to some of the antics, but awesome guy all around.
Yeah, that's an incredible story. And you're right, with him, he was I always thought watching Mike Smith, whether it was like scrumming, like he just seemed one of those guys, the more active he was, the better he was. Like some goalies, you want quiet. Like with him, the more he was bouncing around and diving and stuff, you almost felt like, oh yeah, he's ready to go. As with some goalies, you don't want them to be moving a lot. That's a really good story. All right, thank you for being responsible and pulling over and delaying getting home to do your weekly hit on the show. So safe travels getting home, buddy, and we'll see you at the office soon. Thanks, gents. See you tomorrow. Shawn Belle checking in on the Oil Country Towing video hotline. Is there a football equivalent? Like don't shoot too high on the goalie in a warm-up drill. Like, is there a football equivalent where if a guy did something in practice or a pregame warm-up, you'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. Like if you're just getting warmed up and you're tackling each other. And
just something like that.
You're supposed to do what's like a body fit where you just get under the guy, under the shoulder pads, and just drive him back a bit. But if there's head contact, your helmet may not be done up, and you're thinking, hey, bud, this isn't the game. Like, chill out, idiot. We're not trying to take each other's heads off here. You would get that quite often. It's the player that's too amped up or too hyped
save it
up.
For the opponent,
like,
buddy.
Chill out, man.
Yeah.
This is, we're just getting warm here.
Yeah.
Or they'd get you right under here, right under your armpits.
Oh, and jam up.
And try jam you back. Like, it's good form, but all right, settle down.
It's like, we're on the same team here, buddy.
I'm going to use my head and get hit a lot in the head a lot during the game. Don't need to do it now.
All right. Good stuff with Shawn Belle. Plenty more discussion. Of course, we're happy to hear from you. 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. You can post in the Nasty Chat on YouTube. If you are on YouTube today and you have not already subscribed to Edmonton Sports Talk, please do so. We are creeping to 15,000 subscribers. That'd be a huge milestone.
Yeah, we're building.
And, of course, give us a like as well. Click that thumbs up button, and let's get over 100 thumbs for this show. We're in the Canadian Brewhouse studio. I want to remind you, and I really want to encourage you to try it, especially if you're a wing person. If you like the wings, if you think, I've tried everything. I know all the flavors. Well, here's another flavor you should get to know at the Canadian Brewhouse. The wing flavor of the month for May, roasted jalapeno poblano, spicy, bold, and bursting with roasted pepper flavor. I've tried them. They're delicious. I think you're going to like them as well. All right, 4:23. Here's Ben Thompson.
The Oilers have reportedly been withheld permission to speak with former Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy. According to Frank Saravalli, Cassidy was let go in late March after 4 seasons in Vegas that included a Stanley Cup championship, with John Tortorella stepping in as his replacement behind the bench. The NHL Playoffs continue tonight with a pair of matchups on tap. The Canadiens and Sabres meet at 5 p.m., followed by the Golden Knights taking on the Ducks at 7:30. Around the league, Charlie Coyle has signed a 6-year extension with the Blue Jackets worth $6 million annually, keeping him in Columbus long term. At the World Championships, Team Canada continues to load up their roster with additions of Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer. Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy has been handed a 6-game suspension for his slash on Zach Benson. The suspension will extend into the first 6 games of Boston's regular season next year. In MLB action, the Blue Jays aim to bounce back tonight after an 8-5 loss to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin will start for Toronto, while Shane McClanahan gets the nod for Tampa Bay. First pitch is scheduled for 5:07. There's also 14 other games around the majors tonight, including the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers, Mariners versus the Astros, Cardinals versus the Athletics, and Giants versus the Dodgers to end the night. The NBA playoffs continue tonight as the Timberwolves take on the Spurs at 6 p.m. That series is tied 2-2. And finally, tragic news out of the NBA as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 26. The Vancouver-born forward's death is currently being investigated as an overdose. The sports update is brought to you by The Ranch. The Ranch Golf Club delivers premier conditions, top-notch service, and unmatched value every round. It's why we're Alberta's top choice for corporate golf events. Visit them at theranchgolf.com. Or the Reid Wilkins Show on the other side of the break here. I'm Ben Thompson, and you're up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Craig Button. Leon Draisaitl said we've gone backwards. I've been very clear. 75 to 80% of this is on management. Go and change the coach. Bruce Cassidy's a hell of a coach. Feels like everybody wants to run Chris Knoblauch out of town. So chase him out of there. Bring in a new coach. They're not going anywhere near the Stanley Cup if they don't improve the roster. Full stop.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/EST. Must be 18 plus. If you gamble, use your game sense.
When you cater with Royal Pizza, you're getting the same great pizzas, pastas, and salads you love, just bigger and built for a crowd. Perfect for teams, offices, or parties, Royal Pizza's catering brings real value around $10 per person. Delicious, high quality, and easy. If you like their pastas, you'll love their catering pastas even more. Visit royalpizza.ca or contact your local store for exact pricing and details.
So come on home, Royal Pizza, still making it great.
At Firehouse Subs, our subs are freshly toasted, stacked high, and crafted to satisfy. Each sub is piled high with premium meats, melty cheese, and toasted to perfection. Firehouse Subs brings bold flavor to every bite, all served on a freshly toasted roll. But we're not just feeding Edmonton, we're fueling it. Dig into the brisket hat trick, piled with slow-smoked brisket and melty cheese. Or go to the Firehouse Subs fan favorite, the Hook and Ladder. Made to order with smoked turkey, honey ham, and Monterey Jack cheese on a perfectly toasted roll. With 15 Firehouse Sub locations across Edmonton and the greater area, it's easy to grab a hot and hearty sub close to home. Firehouse Subs. Hot, hearty, made to satisfy.
When gambling, set a budget before you play. Stay informed and visit GameSenseAB.ca to learn how. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
All right, hope you're having a pleasant afternoon. Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports, presented by Play Alberta. Visit playalberta.ca/EST. I think you'll like what you see there. playalberta.ca/EST. Remember, you must be 18 or over to play, and if you gamble, use your game sense while you're on the Play Alberta website or app. Look for EST specials. Bunch of stuff there, including Jay's Play of the Day, which has to do with the Ducks and Golden Knights tonight. You also got a futures on the Elks, don't you?
Yes. Over 7.5 regular season wins, boosted to plus 150.
Okay, that's up till the end of the month, I think?
It ends, May 31st at 6 p.m.
All right. Lots of Oilers news to talk about. Well, really one big thing that people have a lot to say about. 780-218-9999 River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. What's coming in, buddy?
Well, I just want to revisit the off-topic topic.
Yes, you told me you wanted to do that.
That's
My
okay.
bad.
Hey, there's lots going on. The inbox is buzzing. So the off-topic topic for William Huff is, what is something we use now that will eventually become obsolete? Nolan from St. Albert says, already obsolete tech, but kind of on topic. I still have a landline sitting on my desk at work. Been here for 3 years, and I've gotten one call from a scammer.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
Landlines are...
I still have my landline. I'm not sure why. I think it's just bundled in with everything, so I'm not sure.
What's the number?
If it even amounts to anything.
What's the phone number?
Well, I could give it out. No one would know how to call it.
Why?
Because it's a landline.
The same number.
Oh, yeah.
Tricky you. Chris at Wolf Creek says, my wife works for one of the big five banks, and actually they just did a whole fraud prevention thing and said that the tap is the most secure. And largest fraud they're seeing right now is people making fake QR codes for parking and such.
Okay, so did I tell you what I saw in White Ave
No.
a couple weeks ago? And I assume this was a scam.
Dog poop.
No.
Okay.
Well, there probably was. So, and I saw a couple of these, and I only walked about a block. So it was just kind of just a sheet of paper hung, and it was a guy's name, and it was something like, I saw what you did, or I know how you hurt me, or something like that, and it had a QR code. So it was presented as it's a hurt girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, caught this guy cheating. I'm going to guess if you scan that QR code, they were trying to get banking information or personal information.
Oh, my.
I would guess. I didn't scan it. I didn't see any. Well, I was walking. I didn't see anybody. But it certainly is like, enticing. Like, well, I wonder.
Right.
Like, how many people went by, or even a group of people, like,
what happened?
Let's just look. Look.
What happened?
But I'm guessing that was probably a QR code that tried to do something nefarious.
Bronco Nick, as far as the off-topic topic goes, something that will eventually become obsolete, says surgery by human hands.
Oh, wow. That's a good point.
Interesting.
It'll just be the nanites.
Robots. Do you think robots will take over like the dentist profession?
If they're gentle.
That's scary. Of course, there's more coming in on the Oilers, Reid, and
It is the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel. Providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts. Proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, and now a partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel. This pause as the Oilers waiting to hear back from the Golden Knights. Understood.
Well, this is a quick answer. Bone sent in response to the QR code you saw on White Avenue. He says, thanks, Reid. How am I going to retire now?
Oh, jeez. Nice.
Okay, back to the Cassidy rumors, Oilers, what's up with Knobloch, all that jazz.
Yeah.
Old Gil says, Bowman is clearly not the guy for the job. He grossly undervalued Kulak. He grossly undervalued Kulak.
Yeah.
He overvalued Jari. I doubt his player evaluations with other teams around the league. I doubt his player evaluations with other teams around the league. The only players he has had any type of success with are the Blackhawks he knows, but they were rentals. Oilers got lucky with Ingram. The few wins bring me no faith here that he even knows what he is doing.
Well, yeah, again, we've been over that a lot, that Bowman's record with the Oilers is not very good. Would you say it's lucky with Ingram? I mean, he took a swing, I guess.
Well, but
somebody still had to sign him. I mean,
yeah, but so could have every other team.
True. Well, I guess they traded for him eventually, but
I guess, right? Dudley says, do you think the news of the Bruce Cassidy interviewing with the Kings last Friday and him not making a decision means that he's wanting to go through the interview process with the Oilers before making his decision?
I don't understand that.
Do you think that the news, so Bruce Cassidy interviewed with the LA Kings.
He's not been offered a job by the Kings.
Right.
So what decision does Cassidy have to make?
That we know of.
Yeah.
We don't know that if he has or has not been offered a job.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think we can, if that's what that person means.
Well, I think to summarize what Dudley's saying is, do you think Bruce Cassidy is holding off on potential employment with the LA Kings to hear what the Oilers have to offer?
That's what he's getting to. Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know what he'd be thinking.
Off-topic submission from Matty Dubb.
Okay.
What is something we use now that will eventually become obsolete? He says legs.
What?
Legs. That's what he says.
What are we going to do? Just have like stilts?
Well, I think this would also be a robot takeover in some form.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Right.
But like, are legs?
I don't think that's what we're going for. That's an interesting way to put it. 780-218-9999 River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Yeah, it's this is just a very strange situation. Like how much of this? I mean, here's the thing: if this never came to light, because a lot of people, and I want to say, I'm just throwing this out here as a question, not necessarily even something I think. Like, if this Cassidy thing never came to light, then no one's even questioning Bowman or Jackson or whoever is behind this, right? And there is an element to this that is a little bit business as usual in the NHL. It's unusual because it's in the off season and because you actually have a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So again, my thing is, who is Frank Saravelli's source and why? Why do it? I mean, because you can look at it that it kind of makes both teams look a little bit silly.
Well, okay. I mean, business ethics aside, why would the Vegas Golden Knights go out of their way to help the Oilers? Do you think that has anything to do? Like, do you think NHL teams think that unsportsmanlike?
If it's any team, it's them.
I don't. Yeah.
I don't know if
I don't know if they do, but if it's any team, it's them. If there's any team that's out there, it would be them to do this.
The big bad Vegas Golden Knights.
Yes. They're the most ruthless team in the NHL. To me though, I don't know how you can value that over them just not trying to have respect for their former head coach and just allowing him to I think it's just common courtesy for a guy that brought you a Stanley Cup, coached for your team for 4 years, that you let him go seek employment where he chooses.
Well, it's a complete lack of professionalism and business ethics, essentially.
Yep.
If that is in fact
the case,
the reason that this is handled this way, if it is true.
Well, again, I think there's something to it where they would say we're not letting him interview for a job that is currently has somebody occupying it.
But once again, why would they care?
Well, that's them being difficult.
Just for the sake of proper decorum?
Sure.
Right? Okay.
Hey, we'd like to talk to Bruce about being our head coach. Vegas says, "Oh, well, you have a head coach, so we can't allow you to talk to one of our employees about getting the job of one of your employees who's in Bruce's profession, and coaches stick together." I mean, that's how Vegas, whether it sounds silly or not, that's how Vegas could sell it. I mean,
Sure.
Apparently they're just saying nothing. But if they've let him talk to Vegas, or if they let him talk to LA, will the LA Kings have a coaching vacancy? The Edmonton Oilers supposedly do not.
Yeah, and I could get behind that. I could see that just as another burr in the side of the process of saying, well, you don't have a vacancy there. You still have a head coach.
Right.
Or at least last I checked. Now, what about, could Bruce Cassidy just say, well, okay, I quit. You guys keep your $4.5 million.
He signed a contract.
So?
Well, I don't know what
to be
goes
broken.
into termination of a contract.
Well, I'm sure it's not ironclad. I can put it to you that way. I don't think that he's stuck having to sit there and not coach and just sit on his hands and take his $4.5 million.
Right. So, okay. So then you're saying this is what makes it unusual that Vegas is doing this. It's like, yeah, you're still our employee, but you're a coach. And so, okay, go talk to other teams.
Yeah. I don't think you can just say, well, you're under contract, so you can't go coach somewhere else. Well, that's up to the person that's under contract. If they want to break the contract and say, keep your $4.5 million, I'll go find employment elsewhere, I don't think there's much they could do about that. I don't think they'd go to the court system and fight to have to pay Bruce Cassidy $4.5 million to have him sit on his hands.
Right.
That's just my thoughts.
Buster says, how about McDavid saying he quits? Can he leave? Well, no, like you've signed a contract, but I understand what you're saying, Buster, but I think you're being difficult for the sake of being difficult. And trust me, I know when someone's doing that because I do it all the time. It's not directly relatable between a coach and a player.
I think it's different.
Yeah, I do think it's a little different. So I don't think that this is like, well, then players can just get up and say, well, I quit. Fine, don't pay me.
Yeah, Connor McDavid wasn't relieved of his duties either.
Right. Well, now Corey Perry and Vander Kane were. They were basically fired by their teams, but those contracts got terminated. So, anyway. 780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. I just find this... It's very interesting. Whoever... I guess I would say this, and maybe I'm trying to overturn rocks that aren't even worth overturning. So Frank Saravelli, in his article, says he has a source. Why would that source tell Frank? Like, what's the motivation of that source? Because they can't be named, so they don't get any personal glory or attention out of it, except for being able to snicker behind the scenes that they're the one that did it.
Well, then it could be Vegas just wanting to create a dumpster fire in Edmonton and say, look what we did. I think that would make complete sense. Why not? And then just say at the end, well, no, we didn't offer that because there was no vacancy. Like, get down to the exact details of why they did not allow him to talk to the Oilers. And you'd say, well, yeah, duh. And then that would even look worse on the Oilers management again.
Well, maybe.
I mean, if you can legally take a shot at one of your biggest enemies, all above the board, why wouldn't you?
All right, 780-218-9999. If you're in the nasty chat, I don't know what happened on YouTube. Our thumb total plummeted by 20.
What?
Yeah, it was up over 70. Now it's in the 60s again. So
people don't like us, Reid.
Well, I don't know if that's what's going on. But click the thumbs up if you're in there. We're going to keep talking about this. Matthew Scianitti's coming up in the final hour as well. We're 1 month away from Canada's first game at the World Cup. Obviously, that's going to be huge. Buying or selling next. But first, Benny Thompson.
The Oilers have reportedly been withheld from speaking with former Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy, according to Frank Saravelli. Cassidy was dismissed in late March following 4 seasons in Vegas that included a Stanley Cup win, with John Tortorella stepping in as his replacement behind the bench. The NHL Playoffs continue tonight with 2 games on the slate. The Canadiens and Sabres get things started at 5 p.m., followed by the Golden Knights meeting the Ducks at 7:30. Elsewhere around the NHL, Charlie Coyle has agreed to a 6-year extension with the Blue Jackets at $6 million per season, keeping him in Columbus long term. At the World Championships, Team Canada has bolstered its roster further with Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer all joining the lineup. And then Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy has been suspended 6 games for his slash on Zach Benson. This suspension will carry over into the first 6 games of Boston's next regular season. In MLB action, the Blue Jays look to respond after an 8-5 loss to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin starts for Toronto, while Shane McClanahan takes the ball for Tampa Bay. First pitch is at 5:07. There are 14 additional games across the majors tonight, highlighted by the matchups such as the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers, the Mariners versus the Astros, Cardinals versus the Athletics, and the Giants versus the Dodgers to end off the night. The NBA playoffs continue tonight as the Timberwolves face the Spurs at 6 p.m. with that series tied at 2 apiece. And finally, tragic news from the NBA as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. The Vancouver-born forward's cause of death is being investigated as suspected overdose. The sports update is brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. It doesn't start on game day. It starts before kickoff. Get your single game tickets today and be there for every hit, catch, and touchdown. Lock in your seats now at goelks.com/tickets. More of the Reid Wilkins Show coming up on the other side of the break. I'm Ben Thompson, and you're up to date.
The EST Hangout.
But at the same time, is it really fully good for the health?
Yeah.
And as you're drinking alcohol, you're slowly killing yourself slightly or poisoning your body.
If you don't have the 1 or 1.5 glasses of wine a day, and then at the end of the week you have like 7 glasses on one day, does that still count? Does that make it equal or no?
I believe that's binge drinking.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Hey sports fans, I'm Alistair Johnston with Canada Soccer. The biggest sporting event in the world is coming to Canada this summer, and we hope that you're just as excited as we are. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I can't wait to share it with the whole country.
Sentinel Storage, official storage partner of Canada Soccer.
Goodwill is
one shopper, finding something I never knew I needed. A jacket, a deal, one donor, letting go of something so someone else can move forward.
One program participant,
learning,
trying,
building skills,
building confidence,
building a future.
One purchase, one donation,
one job, one choice.
Goodwill is
the power of one. The power of one. The power of one.
The power of one.
Goodwill Industries of Alberta. It all starts with one.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/EST. Must be 18 plus. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Hey sports fans, I'm Alistair Johnston with Canada Soccer. The biggest sporting event in the world is coming to Canada this summer, and we hope that you're just as excited as we are. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I can't wait to share it with the whole country.
Sentinel Storage, official storage partner of Canada Soccer.
All right, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Portions of this hour presented by Lamley's, built for the job, made with quality craftsmanship and designed for job protection with cowboy-worthy durability. Lamley's workwear combines safety with all-day comfort, featuring brands like Ariat Work and Wrangler Rigs, designed to withstand tough conditions and deliver performance across every job site. Visit lamleys.com/work to see how Lamley's can make your workday better.
LAMMLES.
All right. Hope you're having a great afternoon. Discussing the story put out by Frank Saravelli that the Oilers are hoping to speak to Bruce Cassidy about the job of being the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. I almost accidentally said coaching vacancy, which apparently the Oilers do not have at this exact point in time. And we have buying or selling for Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate.
Reid, I've seen a couple texts like this, so I'll just use this one from Sean. This just in, Sarah Valley's source rhymes with knob choffer. That comes in from Sean. Why would that happen? Why would something like this be? Well, I don't know. How can you even validate that? Or I don't know.
I don't know who Frank Saravelli's source is.
Right.
Frank's reporting something. He's obviously believes it to be true, so he's reported it. I don't know who his source is.
Why would this come from this side of the conversation? Why would this come from the Oilers side?
Well, I don't know. What's the motivation? This is one of my questions. What's the motivation of this source or sources? Is it to embarrass the Oilers? Is it to embarrass the Golden Knights? Is it to embarrass Knobloch? Is it to embarrass everybody? I don't know. I'm not the source, so I can't necessarily try to guess at their motivation. But I mean, if I knew who it was, I would say I don't know who it is.
I think it only makes sense that whenever we have an off-topic topic for William Huff, that when the owner of William Huff, Bruce, texts into the show about the off-topic topic, we need to make light of it. He makes a good point. This is in reference to dentists becoming robots.
Right.
He says, I think dentistry will be done by robots. I went to the dentist and I need a root canal, and my dentist used AI to show me the exact procedure and how it will look when it's finished. Robots will perform the work soon enough.
Well, possibly.
Quite possible.
As long as they wash their hands first.
Read the text. The inbox is
well. Let's read. People want to talk to us. Let's hear their thoughts.
Let's go. Derek, the other welder, says, "Why would teams line up to help Stan Bowman? Ethics aren't really a part of his deal either. He has to be the least likable GM in the league."
Okay.
This one comes in from an unnamed texter. So did Vegas actually let Cassidy interview with the Kings and not letting the Oilers speak to him? If so, that's pretty low. Timber Woodsman says, create a dumpster fire. You mean add to a dumpster fire? Do you get the sense that this fan base is frustrated?
Yeah,
just from on,
Jay, I do,
but frustrated as with the accountability of this organization. I'm not seeing a lineup of posts saying fire Knobloch. Knobloch's got yes, you can see that.
Well, this is the other question in this: would fans sooner have Cassidy as the coach? Yes or no? Buying or selling? That's the other thing. I mean, I'll put it to you this way, everybody. If you think Cassidy is a better coach than Knobloch, do you care how the Oilers arrive at getting him? Or what Vegas does or doesn't do to throw up roadblocks along the way? Like if a year from now the Oilers have Cassidy as their head coach and they're looking like Carolina so far through the playoffs, are you even going to remember today?
Well, what's Bruce Cassidy's? He's known for what? Coming in, giving you 2 to 3 good years, fixing a team, getting them.
Yeah, like a lot of. I mean, some coaches have lasted a long time. He coached 320 games with Vegas and 399 with Boston. So he had, okay, so how long was he with, he coached 320 games with Vegas and 399 with Boston. Do you know how many coaches have coached 390 games with the Oilers? So that's what he got to with Boston. 2. Sather and McTavish. Lowe got to 300. Ron Lowe got to 341.
Wow.
So if he coaches as many games with the Oilers as he did with Vegas, he'd be the 4th longest tenured coach in Oilers history a few years from now, if that all happens. But yeah, okay, so maybe you get 3 or 4 good years out of Cassidy, and then who knows what happens.
Haas says, I'd rather a management change, but I think Cassidy is a better coach. Old Gill says, until Jackson and Bowman are gone, doesn't matter who is behind the bench, they need better players.
Well, I would agree with that. I mean, they I've talked a lot about the type of players that they need, intelligent, competitive players. I mean, we see a lot of these guys in the second round of the playoffs right now, not star players who are really, really important to their teams. Not first overall draft picks, not high scorers, but like just really solid, intelligent hockey players who are willing to put the work in. Mex Bezozu says, Cassidy, not a U of A grad, though. Well, we could have him take classes while he's here if he comes on board. Why not?
Chris at Wolf Creek, would this coaching change infer that Bowman and Jackson are safe?
Yes.
Why would they be allowed to make this new hire assuming they are on the block? Or am I just foolish for assuming there is logic with this team?
Well, you might be. But yeah, you would think if the managers are allowed to hire a new head coach that they are going to stay in place. That they wouldn't do that and then be axed themselves. Yes, Big U. Cassidy did coach the Washington Capitals long time ago, from 2002 to 2004, much earlier in his career. Didn't last very long there. But yeah, pretty good tenure with Boston and with Vegas. Took Boston to the Stanley Cup final in 2019, won the Stanley Cup with Vegas in 2023. But yeah, I would agree with that a bigger issue for me was player selection, signing, trades, all that kind of stuff, which is Bowman and I guess to some extent Jackson.
How would you rank?
But do I have criticism of Knobloch? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I think Knobloch coached them to play a style in the playoffs that quite frankly didn't work, which was this methodical, let's regroup, let's do everything at our pace. Like we have to move the puck up a certain way. We have to pass 14 times before we shoot the puck. Now, to be fair, they also have some players that want to play that way, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe he couldn't override them, so to speak, And here's another question. In some ways, is it difficult to coach a team with Connor McDavid on it? Because McDavid's going to say, I want to get the puck and I want to rush the puck up the ice, and that's how we're going to get into the offensive zone. And a coach might say, man, that might take some other players out of the mix, but man, oh man, I know how hard it is to get the puck into the offensive zone, and if I just let Connor do what he wants, then at least we'll have the puck in the offensive zone. You know what I mean? We'll keep talking about this. We got to take the 5 o'clock break. We'll visit with Matthew Scianitti from TSN as well. Benny Thompson coming up too.
2 guys and a goalie.
Does a coach who had an excellent NHL playing career automatically carry more clout when he walks into a dressing room?
For me, I would say yes. All the coaches that I had in North America, and even in Europe too, they were all former players. I had Claude Julien. I had, obviously, Ron Lowe.
2 guys and a goalie, presented by GS Construction. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at noon, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/EST. Must be 18 plus. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The Canadian Brewhouse has a happy hour for any scenario. You finished work early? Happy hour. You finished work because you accidentally hit reply all to the entire company? Big happy hour. Your boss said great job? Happy hour. Your boss said per my last email. Ugh, emergency happy hour. You finally closed the big deal. Happy hour. With a huge selection of ice cold drinks and great food, the Canadian Brewhouse has a happy hour for whatever just happened at work. The Canadian Brewhouse. Your day just got happier.
Your home for great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
God, I wish I could meet somebody like you online. She's got me in the friend zone.
Don't miss Morgan Jay's musical comedy May 23rd. 9 p.m. show is sold out. Second 6 p.m. show added. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Some of us are walking, others are biking. Together, we are accelerating the pace of MS research breakthroughs. This May, join Sentinel Storage at an MS walk in your community. Sentinel Storage, proud partner of MS Canada.
Time for a new career in 2026? Or maybe your kid is still pondering their path. Good news! Weiss Johnson is hiring. It's Dennis, and not only are we hiring for heating and air conditioning, we're also looking for experienced plumbers and gas fitters. With the growth in residential development, there's no shortage of opportunities at Weiss Johnson. Choose your path with us. Learn from one of the industry leaders, and we will grow together. Receive great benefits and school reimbursement as well. Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
The Oilers have reportedly been withheld permission to speak with former Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy, according to Frank Saravalli. Cassidy was let go in late March after 4 seasons in Vegas, highlighted by a Stanley Cup championship. John Tortorella now takes over behind the bench back in late March. The NHL Playoffs continue tonight with a pair of games. The Canadiens and Sabres face off in about 7 minutes, followed by the Golden Knights take on the Ducks at 7:30. Around the league, Charlie Coyle has signed a 6-year extension with the Blue Jackets at $6 million per, keeping him in Columbus long term. At the World Championships, Team Canada has added Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer to its roster as the group continues to strengthen. Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy has been suspended 6 games for his slash on Zach Benson. The suspension will extend into the first 6 games of Boston's upcoming regular season. In MLB action, the Blue Jays look to bounce back after an 8-5 loss to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin starts for Toronto while Shane McClanahan counters for Tampa Bay. First pitch is set for about 5 minutes. There are also 14 other games in the majors tonight, including Diamondbacks versus the Rangers, Mariners versus the Astros, Cardinals versus the Athletics, and the Giants versus the Dodgers to end off the night. The NBA playoffs continue this evening as the Timberwolves take on the Spurs at 6 p.m. with the series lead tied 2-2. And finally, tragic news from the NBA as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. The Vancouver-born forward's cause of death is being investigated as an overdose. Final hour of the Reid Wilkins Show coming right up. I'm Ben Thompson, and you're up to date.
Oh, what an afternoon. Never a dull moment in oil country, eh? You can text us 780-218-9999. Oh, yeah, we got to get the Canadiens game on here. 780-218-9999. Where's the thing? There it is. Is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Tap 25 has the $21.99 prime rib special. 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. 11:30 in the morning to 11 at night, except on show nights, and it is available for dine-in and takeout. Oh, my goodness, Jay. How are you doing?
Oh,
this is like a big Oilers news day, and
Yeah.
technically, there isn't any news.
Fantastic. Like, I am always Reid. You know, I haven't been doing this as long as you. I'm still, I get, I don't know, a weird sense of excitement when stuff like this is a buzz because it's it brings out the passion in fans. I really enjoy seeing that. You know, everybody's got their opinions, but at the end of the day, fans want to speak out and want to be heard.
Well, and that's what we're here for. That's what we're happy to do it. I've been doing it a while. We got our guest, Benny. All right, we are fired up. Oh no, this is Voices of the Game. My bad. You've sold so many things, Jay. Voices of the Game for Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated since 1993. We're more than just plywood. We offer everything from doors and flooring to decking, fencing, and custom millwork. With a huge selection of hardwoods and knowledgeable staff, we're here for all your DIY needs. Windsor Plywood Leduc, the experts you need to know. This guy's an expert on many things, but we're going to focus on the Canadian soccer team and the countdown to the FIFA World Cup. From TSN, Matthew Scianitti is on the line. Matthew, it's Reid and Jay. How are you doing, sir?
I'm great, boys. How are we?
We're doing great. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. We love having you. We have Matthew Scianitti here, our COO, and he's on a variety of shows. And I said, I want to do something on, 1 month of the World Cup. And he's like, ask Scianitti. He's a great guy. He always says yes. So you lived up to that billing.
You know what? Anytime I get a call from Edmonton, I'm always happy to go ahead and respond, guys. All good.
All right. So June 12th, it's going to be Canada against Bosnia-Herzegovina. That's in Toronto. Well, I'll dive in with a bit of an Edmonton angle here. What's going on with Alphonso Davies these days? Is he going to be ready to play, or what's happening?
Well, that's the point, isn't it? And because so many Canadians now are, not that they are ignorant of the Canadian men's national team, but they're going to be introduced to it in a way they've never really had before. I mean, you certainly can consider all the energy generated by the team's run to the semifinals of the Copa America 2 summers ago. But this is different. And at the headline, at the top of the marquee, when you think of the Canadian men's national team, is Edmonton's own Alphonso Davies. Right now, he's dealing with a left hamstring injury. And that comes after he dealt with 2 right hamstring injuries and went through reconstructive surgery on his ACL. It has been a tough last 14 months for Alphonso Davies, especially when you consider what happened at the 2025 CONCACAF Nations League Finals at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, when he blew his knee, and there was so much tension, many will remember after that, between Canada Soccer, Alphonso Davies' camp, and Bayern Munich. This really has become an incredibly sensitive situation. If you're looking on social media, doubtlessly a lot of Edmontonians would have seen the reports coming out of Germany that are saying that many at Bayern Munich are concerned about Alphonso Davies' mental health, given all of the injuries that he's had, especially when he's come back to play and then a few games later re-injured himself, and especially when you consider how he hurt his left hamstring in the last game that he played against Paris Saint-Germain in the semifinals of the Champions League. He certainly has seemed emotional after having these injuries, and how could you not blame him given everything that's happened to him over the last year and a half, how much he wants to lead Canada out during the World Cup. But as it stands right now, we're hearing differing things. Is his return to play 4 weeks, 5 weeks, or 6 weeks? And knowing the tension that occurred between the 3 parties, Canada, Bayern Munich, and Alphonso Davies' camp, everything I'm hearing behind the scenes is everyone is being very cautious and careful, because the only focus right now is Alphonso Davies' health. Canada has a ton of depth. They have built their lineup not so much to survive without Alphonso Davies, but not to be overly reliant on him singularly. But there is no one in CONCACAF, no one on the Canadian men's roster that is Alphonso Davies. Now, am I going to sit here and tell you that Canada's chances are now taking a turn for the worse because he's not in the lineup? No, I'm not going to be that dramatic. Some might be, but I have been around this team more than almost anybody else over the last 6 years. They have grown exponentially in the last 3.5 years, especially under Jesse Marsh. But what Alphonso Davies brings, his presence, the fact that when he gets on the field, given the group that they're in with Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland, how much attention he would occupy on that left wing, whether he played as a left back or further forward, which many have suggested, and I have nothing to dispute it, that Alphonso Davies wanted to play a more forward-facing offensive role for Canada. But the fact is this. Right now, he is someone who has had multiple hamstring injuries over the last 2-3 months. That is a concern for a sprint athlete. So as we sit here right now, It's a lot of caution between Bayern Munich, Canada, and Alphonso Davies' camp. Do I expect him to be in camp? Yes. Do I expect him to start that first game against Bosnia and Herzegovina? It's looking less and less likely that he's going to start. But there is still optimism that he'll play at some point. But as Canada Soccer revealed last week, they're trying to collaborate with Bayern Munich. They're looking at tissue specialists to help Alphonso Davies, and everyone's focus right now is just making Alphonso Davies' body and mind and emotions are set for him to contribute in some way for Canada at the World Cup.
Okay, man, that is something to watch. That's almost a little bit of a soap opera there. Thanks for that description. Matthew Scianitti joining us on the Oil Country Towing Hotline. Speaking of Edmonton, I hope you're going to be here June 1st. They're playing.
Oh, I'm waiting for it. I haven't been back to Northern Alberta in a long time, so I will be on my way later this month.
So Uzbekistan, and they're going to be in Group K at the World Cup. So a good tune-up here. What do you expect from this match? You know, basically a week and a half before Canada plays its opening match at the World Cup.
We talked so much about Alphonso Davies' injury, but many who have followed this team and perhaps have followed my reporting will know that I have been kind of a triage reporter over the last 4 or 5 months, given the amount of injuries that have occurred on the Canadian men's national team. We talk so much about Alphonso Davies, but this is an opportunity when we get to the game at Commonwealth Stadium against Uzbekistan for some of the guys who have been injured, who haven't played for a number of reasons, to get some playing time. Chief among them, this is a name that everyone has to highlight and underline continuously. That's Moise Babito. Alphonso Davies is so important for what he brings talent-wise, but the structure, the presence, the defensive knowledge that Moise Babito has, and I'm not gonna put myself out there and say he is as fast as Alphonso Davies, but he has a lot of speed in his center back position. And Jesse Marsh and many others have compared his development and potential to someone like Virgil van Dijk, the captain of Liverpool. Moise Babito, if he is injured and cannot play, Canada's chances will be hurt at this World Cup simply because of the presence that he has in a very vital position, especially when you consider that Canada hasn't picked its starting goalkeeper, which is another thing I can get to. But when you see all the injuries that Canada's had, especially in defense, and Richie Larea right now is dealing with a thigh injury on the left side of Canada's defense, and Ali Ahmed, who plays for Norwich City in the English Championship, has an undisclosed injury, and there's been not much information around Ali Ahmed's injury, but they are all at this point expected to be in camp when Canada's pre-World Cup camp opens in Charlotte, North Carolina on May 24th. But this game will allow them to coalesce together. And I often compare when Jesse Marsh has his Canadian players for those very short 8 to 10 day stretches during international windows, during club soccer seasons, versus when he's had them for tournaments. And I pay particular attention to the Copa America. Jesse Marsh came in. Canada suffered a terrible loss to the Netherlands in his first game. They lost 4-0, but then they came back against France and Kylian Mbappe and tied France in Bordeaux before they went off to the Euros 2 years ago, 0-0. And that kick-started their whole journey and built a bunch of momentum through Copa America, which ultimately culminating in them getting to the semifinals against Lionel Messi, and then unfortunately losing in the third-place game to Uruguay. A momentum is what Jesse Marsh generates. Club form matters, obviously, guys coming in, feeling healthy, feeling confident, but he is very much about this group. He keeps them together. He puts a lot on them. The training sessions that Jesse Marsh has, and if hopefully there are some open ones and members of the media will attend them, obviously, in Edmonton. Everyone will get to see how high intensity these training sessions are. Jesse Marsh takes part in some drills and tries to even be physical with his players. That's because he wants to toughen them up for what is about to happen. Uzbekistan is certainly there was a lot of misgivings that a lot of fans had because they wanted a more competitive, perhaps star-studded team to face Canada ahead of the World Cup. That didn't happen, but Uzbekistan is going to be in the World Cup. So they're preparing. They are going to want to be prepared for the tournament just as much as Canada is going to want to be. So that is going to be a real good test for Canada. But under Jesse Marsh, he has always maintained that your form with him with the Canadian national team is more important to him than your club form. So if guys are coming in wanting to prove that they should be starting on June 12th, there's no better time to prove it to Jesse Marsh than that game at Commonwealth Stadium against Uzbekistan. It should be pretty exciting.
Matthew Scianitti of TSN joining us here for Voices of the Game for Windsor Plywood Leduc. Okay, so the June 12th, BMO Field in Toronto, Canada, Bosnia, Herzegovina. Am I seeing this correct? I thought this would have been sold out months ago. But am I seeing this correct, that there are still tickets available, or am I missing something there a bit, Matthew?
Well, I think it is the ongoing saga of what this World Cup has become. It has become very much about ticket prices, ticket resales, the resale market, and angry fans, justifiably in some respects, about ticket prices. Let me put this into context. In Europe, the secondary market exists, but it doesn't exist in the way that it does here. Here, it very much is a auction market. You want to pay for the privilege, you're going to have to pay because there's supply and demand. With something like the World Cup, given the prices that we're seeing, it does not surprise me that fans are balking at those prices. And certainly there have been fans who have made a point that I am not spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars in some cases to sit in temporary stands. I think what we have here is FIFA looking at a marketplace in North America where it's not isolated to soccer. We have certainly seen news and a lot of tension and a lot of public opinion about the way concert tickets have been going over the last few years. And to see that now magnified for the biggest sporting event on the planet has underscored the fact that, sure, fans want to see a World Cup game, but they also want to go ahead and enjoy it, not feeling like they're being fleeced. And, certainly far be it for me to get into the business minds of those at FIFA. I mean, that in itself over the last number of generations has been certainly a soap opera in and of itself. But I cannot fault people for looking at those ticket prices and thinking, I'm not paying for that. And ultimately, one of the legacies of this tournament is going to be those ticket prices. Do I expect those ticket prices to go down? Do I expect it to be sold out? Yeah, I expect it to be sold out. Whether or not the ticket prices are going to go down is really not up to me. That's up to the fans and what they're willing to pay. But it has become an unnecessary distraction for something that should be a celebration of the game and a tremendous opportunity for the game in this country. This may never happen again. To have a home World Cup here, the Canadian men's national team being as potentially competitive as they could be, to have the distraction about tickets, I think FIFA only has itself to blame in that.
Yeah. Matthew, you're an incredible guest. You're very generous with your time. Thank you so much for taking time to hop on. I mean, we asked you about the storylines, and you brought in all these other storylines that I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, or yeah, that's going on too. Just outstanding. I know you're going to be busy when you're here, but hopefully you'll be able to meet with at least some of us from Edmonton Sports Talk. But thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again soon, sir.
Call anytime, guys. Talk to you soon.
Right on. Matthew Scianitti from TSN. He's all over this Canadian. What's he said? Like six years he's been covering it. He clearly knows everything there is to know about it. We didn't even get into the goaltending. Wow, talking about goaltending on EST. Imagine that. I'm glad you asked him that question, though, Jay, because that is a story here. Like, the prices are... Benny, was that you and me or Coob? Somebody brought up somebody was like, oh, it's like $1,000 to go to some game between like two of the lower-ranked countries. Like, forget about trying to go to a quarterfinal or a semifinal or something like that.
Yeah, I can't. I think it was.
I can't remember if we were talking about it, but somebody brought it up in the bullpen last week. That it's just so Canada's. That's the game in Toronto.
Yeah,
that's the first one,
the opener.
That's
for Team
the
Canada.
first ever Canadian game in the World Cup on Canadian soil. It is not sold out, and BMO is not a large stadium, relatively speaking.
And it's not like there's hundreds of seats available. There's thousands. Reid,
really?
Yes. But I think FIFA also releases tickets in a lottery style as well.
Oh, do they do stuff? Okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunately where, like, that's just the way things are going here. And I mean, until you can say have regulations in place by these ticketing services, it's going to continue to happen. Can you imagine if there was? Well, I mean, Matthew Scianitti said himself he feels this will be sold out and it'll be a full house. But
we're going to have to. What will the cost be for that to happen? That's too bad. 780-218-9999, River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino turning 20 this year, so they're going to celebrate until October 26th. My goodness, over $1 million in prizes, 35 winners of $20,000 in casino free plays, 9 brand new cars, 56 winners of $1,000 in cash. This is all going on until October 26th, rivercreeresort.com. We got Buffalo, Montreal on the TV here, 5 minutes into the first period, no score. That's an exciting game. Or should be an exciting game. Later on is Vegas, Anaheim. So that's in Vegas today. We've been talking extensively, getting your opinions on the story that the Oilers want to talk to Bruce Cassidy, who's still under contract with the Golden Knights, and the Golden Knights are not allowing it, but they're not allowing it either. I guess they're just sort of not answering. Now, what did you say that Friedman has said they really shouldn't be able to block an interview?
Yes, it sounds like so. He's confirming that Cassidy did talk to the Kings on Friday, and he said that the Golden Knights, there should be no reason that they don't allow Cassidy to talk to the Oilers unless it's for a very important reason. So it sounds like for him, like from what he's saying, it needs to be super important for Bruce Cassidy not to be talking to Oilers. He thinks it'll happen. So that's
And this is what I know Frank speculated, like, could Bettman get involved? I think, and I know people putting in the chat, well, what about this then? This happened in the NFL. Well, DeBoer or, Patrick Waugh getting paid not to coach.
Yeah.
Okay, not every situation is exactly the same,
Yeah.
first of all. And I think Gary Bettman does not want a league where coaches are blocked from opportunities just out of spite or rivalry.
Yes.
Okay? Now, I know people are still going to push back and find holes, is what I'm saying, but that's generally how I would put this, okay? So I don't think Bettman wants a culture, if we can use that word, where a coach can say, hey, I want to work, and a team can say, but we're still going to just kind of decide where you can go work.
Yeah.
You can go interview with LA or not with Edmonton. You can talk to Vegreville, but not Lamont. Like, that's not fair.
Which you've talked about on the show. What's the motivation for this news coming out? That could be we discussed a little bit on afternoons about how that could be a reason. Maybe whoever is telling Frank this stuff is going, okay, we want this out so that there's pressure for Vegas to go, okay, come on, let's go, let's make a decision here.
Buffalo's on the board about 6.5 minutes into the first period, so 1-0 lead on the Canadians. Yeah, this is I realize for most people listening, this is very emotional because they love the Oilers. They want the Oilers to do better. They're mad about how a lot of things went with this season. Some people don't like Bowman. Some people don't like Knobloch. Some people don't like anybody. I get it, but I also, for me, my analytical part of my mind, I just find this whole process fascinating. Like, what's going on? What's everybody's motivation? Should Vegas be able to do this? Why did this come out? All that stuff sort of has me percolated.
Is it simply the semantics of having or not having a head coaching vacancy?
Well, yeah, and that's part of it too.
As to why they would allow Bruce Cassidy to talk with the LA Kings.
Right. So this is and this is what I'm saying, and I would like to think in the real world. Okay. So Jay, you're running Yvonne's Furniture.
Yes.
And let's say I was down the street and I had Wilkie's Furniture. And you own Yvonne's and I own Wilkie's Furniture. And we kind of get along, though we're in the same business.
We're competitors.
Right?
Yep.
And we each have a sales manager, whatever, our number 2. Or you have somebody working for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my number 2 guy, my sales manager. And you and I are cordial, and we would go for lunch or whatever. And I was like, hey, I want to talk to Steve-O about being my sales manager. Can I maybe just kind of take him for an interview and have lunch with him? Would you not say, wait a minute, Reid, you have Benny as your sales manager. Like, what's going on? Are you getting rid of Benny? No. I just, maybe if I talk to Steve-O and I like him. Like, you'd be like, dude, like, I can't just let you talk to my employee And then if you like him, then you're going to fire a guy in the industry. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, and if
would that
I
not be awkward? You know?
Yeah, but the most awkward part would be if I liked my sales manager, I'd tell you to pound sand. Beat it.
Yeah.
He's my guy.
Yeah, or whatever position
Don't touch
you
him.
had. Yeah.
But if I was maybe looking for
I know
a change,
it's not exactly comparable because I always say the real world and pro sports aren't exactly comparable. But I do think this might be a problem here that the Oilers actually have a head coach. Spency 5 Centsy says it'd be Wilkie's Wicker World. Project Dumpling says, in my opinion, Bowman should be getting the boot out of town, but of course the coach is an easy scapegoat. Well, I mean, we're hearing a lot of that. I do not disagree with that at all. I mean, like, if you're going to make changes, is changing the coach enough?
Well, no.
Right.
But I might provide a fresh face, a fresh look.
Like,
will it instantly make this team defend better? No.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what if Cassidy,
maybe it could help?
What if Cassidy comes in and they still can't keep the goals against down?
Well, that's where you're going to have some roster changes. But can a coach with a more defensive-minded approach, which I believe Bruce Cassidy has, can that help? The show title yesterday was unwilling or unable,
incapable or unwilling,
incapable or unwilling.
Right.
Well, maybe the new face will snap the willingness into them. I don't know.
We're in the Canadian Brewhouse studio. Arena energy, but no tickets required. Catch all the playoff action. Catch all the hockey playoff action live at the Canadian Brewhouse this playoff season. The Canadian Brewhouse, our house, is your arena. All right. We'll touch on some other good topics here. And we got our words of the day coming up as well.
The Oilers have reportedly withheld permission to speak with former Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy, according to Frank Saravalli. Cassidy was relieved of his duties in late March after 4 seasons in Vegas, where he captured a Stanley Cup, with John Tortorella now taking over behind the bench. The NHL playoffs continue tonight with 2 matchups. The Canadian Sabres are playing as we speak. Buffalo Sabres up 1-0 just about 8 minutes into that game. Following that game, though, will be the Golden Knights facing the Ducks. That gets going down at 7:30. Elsewhere around the league, Charlie Coyle has agreed to a 6-year extension with the Blue Jackets at $6 million per season, keeping him in Columbus long term. At the World Championships, Team Canada continues to strengthen their roster with Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer all joining the group. Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy has received a 6-game suspension for his slash on Zach Benson. The ban will carry into the first 6 games of Boston's next regular season. In MLB action, the Blue Jays aim to bounce back after an 8-5 loss to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin is on the mound for Toronto, while Shane McClanahan goes for Tampa Bay. That's currently in the top of the second inning with the Tampa Bay Rays up 1-0. There are 14 other games around the majors tonight as well, highlighted by the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers, Mariners versus the Astros, Cardinals versus the Athletics, and the Giants versus the Dodgers at the end of the night. The NBA playoffs continue tonight as the Timberwolves take on the Spurs at 6 p.m. with the series tied at 2 apiece. And finally, tragic news in the NBA as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. The Vancouver-born forward's death is being investigated as an overdose. Roll along here on the Reid Wilkins Show after the break. I'm Ben Thompson, and you're up to date.
Goodwill is
one shopper, finding something I never knew I needed. A jacket, a deal, one donor, letting go of something so someone else can move forward.
One program participant,
learning,
trying,
building skills,
building confidence,
building a future.
One purchase, one donation,
one job, one choice.
Goodwill is
the power of one, the power of one, the power of one, the power of one.
Goodwill Industries of Alberta. It all starts with one.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Craig Button.
Leon Draisaitl said we've gone backwards. I've been very clear. 75 to 80% of this is on management. Go and change the coach. Bruce Cassidy's a hell of a coach. Feels like everybody wants to run Chris Knobloch out of town. So chase him out of there. Bring in a new coach. They're not going anywhere near the Stanley Cup if they don't improve the roster. Full stop.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/EST. Must be 18 plus. If you gamble, use your game sense.
It's the weekend. The sun is out, and everyone, yes, even the kids, are bored. Bring them to the Canadian Brew House. Our patios have games to keep the whole family going. Rooftop views, real turf to run around on, and misters for when the summer gets serious. Oh, and we've still got the game on. Always. All day, all weekend, all summer. The Canadian Brew House, Canada's best patios.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know. All right, we got an announcement here in Buffalo, Montreal. Lengthy video review, and it is a goal for Jack Quinn. And the Buffalo Sabres lead 2-0 with 11:56 left in the second period. Basically, the whole time we were during commercial, they're performing a video review. So the puck was in the crease, and Quinn swooped in, and he flicked a backhand at Dobish, who's down in the butterfly, and the puck went right into Dobish's glove, which then sort of tilted back into the net. The puck was in the glove, in the trapper, and then he kind of brought his glove forward, and the puck fell out. And they looked at it for a long time from multiple angles, and I think they made the right call.
So what's Martin St. Louis doing here now?
No, I wonder if he's challenging for goalie interference. Because I wasn't paying attention to the rest of the play, or he's just reminding the refs that what he thinks of their intelligence. Oh no, we got something here. Now we got a coach's challenge. Is it goalie interference, or is it? What if this was offside the whole time?
Goalie interference.
They're going to call. This is going to get wiped off the board. This is going to be goalie interference, Jay. I think there's two Buffalo Sabres who might be guilty of goalie interference.
But it's a Montreal player that ultimately goes into Dobish right there.
22. Oh yeah, Gouli, was that Gouli? Okay, Gouli was not pushed, but who's 22? Do you remember? Or 91?
That would be
Hellenius. 94. 94, Hellenius. Then Quinn, 22, comes in and scores the goal.
Gouli is the one that I think causes
Dobish to get pulled to his right. So Hellenius is driving basically along the goal line from the right wing and swoops in front of the net. And he does clip Dobish on the way through. I don't think he was pushed in. This is the joy of... I think that's goalie interference, Jay. I think he did enough to pull Dobish out of the way. Can you see it, Ben?
Nope.
So the pass goes down low. Hellenius cuts in front, shovels a backhand. His skate hits the left pad. I think they're going to wave this off.
This will be interesting.
You think it's going to stand?
Reid, who knows?
See, okay, look, Dobish's stick gets caught up in Hellenius's feet, and as Hellenius continues through the crease, Dobish's stick gets pulled with Hellenius. Now, did that necessarily prevent Dobish from making the save? No, but as we know from talking about this a lot over the years, if you affect the goalie's ability to make the save, it's often goalie interference. My gut instinct tells me this is waved off.
Yeah, I could see it going either way, Reid, to be honest with you.
You got to make a call, Jay. You got to make a call right now.
But
But Gouli, you're
Gouli
right, does
is
more to prevent Dobish because Gouli comes in late trying to check Hellenius and misses him and kind of hits Dobish. Well, kind of. He does hit Dobish.
I mean, what coverage by Dobish, though?
But
down
see,
low.
Right there. See how he goes through the crease and takes Dobish's stick with him in his feet?
As he's trying to score.
Right.
Yeah, he does take Dobish's stick with him. You cannot dispute that.
Here we go. We don't have the audio. We'll tell you what happens. The ref is talking. I can't read lips. It's too far away. They waved it off.
No goal.
It was no goal.
Good challenge.
So all that to determine if the puck is over the line. The crowd's going nuts. The shots are 9-1 Buffalo, by the way.
Buffalo's been by far outplaying. They've been controlling this first period. Reid, if only they had a way that you could tell if the puck was over the line, this would have taken half the time.
That's true. That's very true. By the way, portions of this hour presented by Commonwealth Stadium. So, yeah, that Canadian men's soccer national team taking on Uzbekistan, June 1st, Commonwealth Stadium, building up to World Cup 2026. CanadaSoccer.com for tickets, Ticketmaster for tickets, and also stay tuned for your chance to win your way in. Are we going to give away tickets later this week, maybe, or next week?
I think we're going to give them away next week, Reid.
Next week?
In anticipation of the event. Now, I do know this. I've looked on Ticketmaster. Lower bowl seats are pretty much gone.
Okay.
And the upper bowl is all that's left. There are a few lower bowl, but, I mean, this is going to be a great event. And it's leading right up to the World Cup. Reid, I want to read this to you.
Okay. To me specifically. Somebody's mad at me.
No.
As usual.
This is from Grumpy Cat. A coach who will be able to hold all, capitalized all, players accountable. Even when Nobbs came in, the sentiment felt like keep Connor happy. Maybe a veteran coach can have a different mentality. What do you think about that text on the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999?
Yes. I mean, Leon and Connor are great players. They're not perfect. And they didn't, let's face it, they didn't check as well this year as they did in other years. They didn't. I think in the playoffs, McDavid was hampered. Maybe Draisaitl was as well. But they didn't check as well. Leon wasn't as mean as he used to be. So they can play better. But is another coach actually going to bench those guys? I mean, Draisaitl got benched for 2 shifts against Philadelphia early in the season? Or was that even last year? No, that was this year. I can't even remember the years now. So, like, is Bruce Cassidy or whoever going to be able to come in and say to Connor McDavid, you stop on the puck when you play defense? Or is Connor just going to say or think, no, I swoop back and I steal the puck and I go the other way?
Well, it was clear in Connor and Leon's exit interviews that they weren't happy with the play of this team. So if they want to be a part of the group that leads this team to a Stanley Cup, then yeah, they're going to have to buy in as well. Now, how much of this are we not giving enough credit to the fact that the back-to-back Stanley Cup final hangover? Do you subscribe to that at all? Because I kind of do. I don't know if that finally had caught up with them. Like for the past 2 seasons, Connor McDavid's been in the throes of a round 2 playoff game right
Florida
now.
actually went to 3 in a row. Tampa Bay went to 3 in a row. So it's possible to go to 3 in a row.
Okay, that's fair.
The team wasn't as good. And again, Anaheim is not a Stanley Cup contender. If you're being eliminated by Anaheim, you have some weaknesses.
Sure.
If you're basically getting beat fairly convincingly by Anaheim, you have some weaknesses. I know people probably think I'm keeping on disrespecting Anaheim, but they're pretty flawed.
Yeah.
They're pretty flawed.
And probably for good reason.
And maybe Vegas is too.
But this isn't a wholesale change of the half the roster leaving, right, Reid? Is this 2 or 3 different upgrades, if possible?
Okay, here's another thing I want to get to. Project Dumpling says, first of all, at least keep Draisaitl and McDavid off the PK. Yes, I would agree with that. He also says Ryan McDavid simply played way too much this season. But Project Dumplings, that's been a criticism of every coach that has coached McDavid and Draisaitl.
Including John Cooper.
Well,
at the Olympics.
He didn't coach Draisaitl. But
no,
yes.
but he coached McDavid and he played him 26
and
minutes
put him out
a
in
night.
overtime twice in the first 3
It
shifts
happens.
with McKinnon and McCarr.
Not necessarily that we agree with it, Reid, but it happens.
So here's my thing, Project Dumplings. I understand what you're saying. I understand why you're saying it. I would just say until a coach can come in and prove that he can resist the temptation of playing those guys a ton, then I refuse to believe that any coach is going to do it, quite frankly. Now Draisaitl kind of wanted it both ways in his exit media interview. Like he said, we need to get more guys involved, but he also said the high-end guys need to play a lot. Like we need to feel it. He was like, yes, Nathan McKinnon, we need to feel it. So what's the distinction we're talking about here? 21 minutes instead of 23 or 24? What is it, Ben? Canadian score.
Nice.
Newhook. Newhook's going to win the Conn Smythe.
He's the Pisani
Anyway.
of Montreal. No, I mean, 21 minutes is definitely better to me than 24. To me, with the whole coaching thing and all this talk and stuff, the reason why I'm for is because I believe that there needs to be a new relationship between the coach and the players. You've said this when we're talking about Project Dumplings and what you were saying in the Nash chat about how every coach has come into Edmonton and has done this with these players. And so I agree with the top players needing to play majority of the minutes, right? Like they need to play over 20. But I think there needs to be a new way of looking at it with the coach. And to me, I believe that Bruce Cassidy can walk in here and he doesn't fall into the same trap that every coach has here in Edmonton, which is he's going to have his system, he's going to have his rules, and he's going to want to stick with them. The roles that McDavid and Draisaitl have been given of PK, do whatever you want, like you were saying, Reid, this year, their checking hasn't been as good this year. I think they all led to the reason why they were out in the first round. Yes, his roster isn't as good as previous years, but I think it's a mixture of the top guys not playing as well defensively as they should be, the roster not being as good enough, and they're emotionally drained from the past 2 playoff runs. Right. I understand they could have went to the Cup final this year. Florida did it 3 straight years, but they were emotionally drained. You could see it all season long. They're winning games, and they're just going, "Oh yeah, you can't."
Yeah,
whatever.
maybe
give me the
there's something
playoff
to that,
right? I think a new coach can bring some new excitement, but also more importantly, a new relationship between the top guys and the coach. I think it'll make them play.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it, Ben. Like sometimes you just need you're talking about needing a new voice. Maybe it's just a new relationship.
Yes.
And Cassidy's going to say, or whoever,
he's going to be able to put his foot down on something.
Wouldn't it be great if tomorrow it's like LA Kings have named Bruce Cassidy their new head coach? Yeah, and I understand, like, Project Dumpling says some games they played 25 or more minutes. Like, I get it. Like, sometimes it's, you're behind late in the game. You might be out for the final 2 minutes. I would just... We just saw this goal Montreal scored. Relentless puck battle. Kept the puck in about 12 feet in front of the blue line. Newhook gets it, puts it in front of the net. Like, doesn't fool around with it. Puts it right at the net. Kirby Dach is still there. Is denied on a wide open chance in front. Goes and gets the puck behind the net. Newhook beats all the other Buffalo players off the wall. Gets the puck in front. One-touch shot. It's in the net. Relentless, straight line. Get to the dangerous areas of the ice. Whereas the Oilers are more like... If we get the puck, that's cool.
Maybe we'll work around the outside a little bit.
Loop around. But again, here's my thing to everybody. Can Cassidy change the mentality of how Draisaitl and McDavid want to attack? I really, maybe we're running out of time on today's show. Maybe we'll get more into that tomorrow. Could a new coach, well, who knows, but we'll have to talk about tomorrow. Could a new coach, can you actually change the mentality of the high-end offensive players? Or have they already decided, hey, this is how we score goals? Okay? Like, or I don't mean I'm talking down to these guys, like bad about these guys. They're incredible hockey players. But are McDavid and Draisaitl, like, do they think, okay, this is how we score, coach, whether it's Chris or Bruce or Todd or whoever. Do they think this is how we score? You can talk to the other peons without any talent about this. We're going to attack this way. Okay? We don't need to go in a straight line. Leave us alone.
Yeah. Well, to me, the scoring part isn't necessarily the issue, right? Like, and of course, like you were just mentioning, Montreal's goal is great. I think there is definitely a difference for coaching where it's like, okay, top guys, I'm gonna let you show off your talent and do what you think is best. But we saw, to me at least, when I watched the bottom six, they were trying to make plays that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl were trying to make. When what they should be doing is should be making plays like Alex Newhook just made, where it's just like, be relentless, like just like live, like be a dog on a bone. And when you have a couple of those guys like Podkolzin and Kapanen and Savoy has those tendencies at times, but I think that's what a coach can really bring out is those bottom six guys. Play that relentless style. Allow Draisaitl and McDavid to make those crazy talented decisions that maybe don't always go in, but majority of the time they do. Let the bottom six players play more straight line hockey. And I think if Bruce Cassidy can allow that,
or the ability to defend.
Yes.
How about that?
That's the biggest thing, too. I think for him, he's got to step down and go, okay, like, I understand you guys are the best players in the world. You guys need to be defensive hockey players first. Like let's not.
But what if they really don't believe that? What if they really don't believe they have to play that way?
Then they're not going to win.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you have it.
There it is.
Well, how can you expect to win in the playoffs if you're unwilling to defend?
I know this is from an outsider's point of view, but from everything that Draisaitl and McDavid were saying in their press conferences, they don't care how they have to play. They want to win. That's kind of that's what I'm gauging. So to me, okay, they have a certain style. I think that relationship with Knobloch is already at a point where it's like they can't be told what to do from him. I think they need a new relationship to have a new voice and go, okay, no, let's stick with this. Play some defense. I'm gonna allow you to have your offensive time, but we need to be a defensive team first.
All right, I got a limerick from James.
Oh,
my buddy James. I think secretly he loves me.
I agree.
We know they have the capacity. The bastards are full of tenacity. They stopped the oil with a clever foil from speaking with Bruce Cassidy. That's pretty good. Edmonton Sports Talk presented by Play Alberta. Remember to check out playalberta.ca/EST. And remember, when you place a wager on your favorite team, you're making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. playalberta.ca/EST. Words of the day when we get back.
The Oilers have reportedly been withheld permission to speak with former Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy, according to Frank Saravalli. Cassidy was relieved of his duties in late March after 4 seasons in Vegas, where he captured a Stanley Cup. Now it's John Tortorella taking over behind the bench. The NHL Playoffs continue tonight with 2 matchups. The Canadian Sabres are playing as we speak. That game is 12 minutes in, tied 1-1. Shots are 9-3 for the Sabres. Sabres on the power play as well. After tonight's game, it's going to be followed by the Golden Knights facing the Anaheim Ducks. Puck drop goes at 7:30. Elsewhere around the league, Charlie Coyle has agreed to a 6-year extension with the Blue Jackets at $6 million per season, keeping him in Columbus long term. At the World Championships, Team Canada continues to strengthen their roster with Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer all joining the group. Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy has received a 6-game suspension for his slash on Zach Benson. The ban will carry into the first 6 games of Boston's next regular season. In MLB action, the Blue Jays aim to bounce back after an 8-5 loss to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin is on the mound for Toronto while Shane McClanahan goes for Tampa Bay. That game is going on as we speak, and it is the top of the 3rd inning with Tampa Bay Rays up 1-0. There are 14 other games across the majors, highlighted by the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers, Mariners versus the Astros, Cardinals versus the Athletics, and the Giants versus the Dodgers to end the night. The NBA playoffs continue tonight as the Timberwolves take on the Spurs at 6 p.m. with the series tied 2-2. And finally, some tragic news in the NBA as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. The Vancouver-born forward's death is being investigated as an overdose. Final segment of the Reid Wilkins Show coming up after the commercials. I'm Ben Thompson, and you're up to date.
EST Afternoons.
Everybody starts throwing out the Sebastian Cossa. So the answer to the goaltending problems with the Edmonton Oilers in the biggest year of this franchise history, the 2 years left of Connor McDavid, is to roll Tristan Jarry with Sebastian Cossa, who has 1 game of NHL experience. That's where you're going to go to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and say, hey, we got the solution.
EST Afternoons, weekday afternoons 1 to 3, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
At Firehouse Subs, our subs are freshly toasted, stacked high, and crafted to satisfy. Each sub is piled high with premium meats, melty cheese, and toasted to perfection. Firehouse Subs brings bold flavor to every bite, all served on a freshly toasted roll. But we're not just feeding Edmonton, we're fueling it. Dig into the brisket hat trick, piled with slow-smoked brisket and melty cheese. Or go to the Firehouse Subs fan favorite, the Hook and Ladder. Made to order with smoked turkey, honey ham, and Monterey Jack cheese on a perfectly toasted roll. With 15 Firehouse Sub locations across Edmonton and the greater area, it's easy to grab a hot and hearty sub close to home. Firehouse Subs. Hot, hearty, made to satisfy.
Your home for great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
God, I wish I could meet somebody like you online. She's got me in the friend zone.
Don't miss Morgan Jay's musical comedy May 23rd. 9 p.m. show is sold out. Second 6 p.m. show added. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
All right. Good to have you tuning in this afternoon. Jay and I both went to the U of A. You must have met a lot of different people at the U of A.
Oh, yes.
Classes with a lot of different people.
Yes, all shapes and sizes.
A lot of different abilities and interests and all that kind of stuff.
Indeed.
Maybe you can tell some stories about that someday. Or if I have some, I can tell them. We'd have to tie them into sports somehow. Would we? We should have a special stream where people air our conversations during the commercials.
We could do that.
We probably shouldn't do that.
We could do that. Well, what about the Z files?
Sorry for your...
Remember?
What?
The Z files.
Is that Coob?
Oh, that's you and I. That's our after hours.
Oh,
podcast.
right. That's our thing. It's time for your words of the day for the Edmonton Public Library. Your free EPL card could do more than you might expect, from books, movies, and video games to digital resources, creative spaces, and learning opportunities. There's something for everyone across Edmonton. Sign up online, epl.ca/sign-up, or visit any of EPL's 21 locations to get started today.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
Very good. These were submitted by listener Les Sweet.
All right.
This is Words of the Day Color Edition.
Well, now I have clues as to what's going on.
Good luck to you.
Okay.
First word of the day, verdigris. Verdigris.
Well, you always tell me just go with my first instinct. Vertigrees.
Verdigris.
Oh, vertigo. Oh, wow. Well, I was thinking it might have to do with green. I'm going to say this is...
Do you want it in a sentence?
Yes. But I've already identified that I think it has to do with green, so that should be 0.1 right there.
Sure. The ring Ben gave his mom for Mother's Day turned her finger verdigris.
It's like a green stain you get from metal. Oh, yeah, baby.
Yes, it's a blue-green patina most commonly associated with oxidized copper, brass, bronze, roofs, statues, etc.
All right.
Second word of the day.
Maybe I should only get half a point.
Jacaranda.
Jacaranda.
Jacaranda. Jacaranda.
Jacaranda. You're trying to say another letter in there.
Jacaranda.
Jacar.
What's your name? Jacaranda.
Jacaronda.
Oh, so close.
Really?
Jacara.
Oh, no way.
NDA.
I was that close?
You were.
I'm going to say this is a yellow stripe on an animal's tail.
Violetta often wore a jacaranda-colored dress.
Yellow.
Violetta.
A Violetta? A violet-colored object. That doesn't make any sense.
A light purple violet from the South American flowering plant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is its namesake.
That was interesting today. All right.
I like the edition, though. Like color edition.
Yeah, that was nice.
Could have sports edition.
They were very hard.
Woof.
All right. We got to go. Well, Canadians almost scored. They didn't. I'm having Ben Thompson. Jay Milne. I'm Reid Wilkins. Have a great evening.